In clarification, President Trump granted pardons to certain individuals convicted in connection with J6 events, describing their actions as very minor incidents. The administration argues that these pardons are acts of clemency aimed at national reconciliation. Critics, however, contend that such actions could set a dangerous precedent by excusing unlawful behavior. And the biggest argument I've heard anyone make about that so far is the couple of Proud Boys that also got off on the J6 thing. And Trump responded, this was a live address that he did, and they asked him this question. He said, look, regardless of who these guys are, basically, they were put in prison for tearing down an anti-American flag, and they got years. And if we want a fair and just legal system, those guys could be anybody in the world. What they did was not deserving of them being in prison for years on end. And the entire last 4, maybe even 5 years, people have been burning the American flag on government property time and time again, and none of them saw any sort of justice whatsoever. So I agree with Trump. I agree with Trump. As a minority, I'm not mad that these so-called Proud Boys got the pardon as well, because I think that's fair. Welcome back to another episode of Ill Eagle Culture Brands Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Ostos, a.k.a. Ill Eagle CEO, and I'm here today with what would seem to be my new 3 counterparts, Dion 2-Cup Larry, Cody Big Meat Malk, and Dalton Nelson. We need a nickname for Dalton, bro. I was trying to think of one real quick, but it didn't come. It's got to be natural. I can't force it, you know? We'll get one. Anyways, Dalton, welcome back, man.
Thank you.
We have a lot to discuss today. It's been a crazy week since Trump was sworn in. A lot has happened, and so there's a shit ton of topics that we need to cover. So let's jump right into it. I want to start light real quick, because I do want to cover a couple real quick things. One of them is we didn't really get a chance to discuss it because it happened after the last episode, but the preemptive pardons that Joe Biden did. A lot of buzz around that, which quickly got washed under the rug because a whole bunch of other stuff has been coming out since.
That's light.
But,
we're starting light.
Yeah,
we're
starting light. This is light compared to everything else. Yeah, that's how dope it is, right? But yeah, so I wanted to cover that because for a couple of reasons. One, I want to show a video in regards to preemptive pardons with our boy Trump back in 2020.
Preemptive blanket pardons? I mean, I haven't heard about this since, like, Monopoly with a get-out-of-jail-free card.
Trump has discussed with advisors whether to grant preemptive pardons. What does that say? That he wants to excuse them for things before anybody's even saying there's an investigation.
President Trump, as he winds down his last few weeks in office, is considering preemptive pardons. What a mess. More as we know.
Source saying that some of the president's inner circle, well, they're telling him that it would be perfectly fine to pardon his family and other associates preemptively, even though they haven't been charged with any crimes. How much damage could be done to this country can he do to this country on his way out?
President Trump is reportedly considering a wave of preemptive pardons. Does this concern you? All these preemptive pardons?
Well, it concerns me in terms of what kind of precedent it sets and how the rest of the world looks at us as a nation of laws and justice. You're not going to see in our administration that kind of approach to pardons, nor are you going to see in our administration the approach to making policy by tweets. It's just going to be a totally different way in which we approach the justice system.
Totally different.
So different. Anyways, thanks for showing up, guys. Have a good day. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We win. This is the biggest double standard ever. And this is what gets me right now is when we look at what's going on currently, Biden has preemptively pardoned ridiculous people. Fauci probably being one of the biggest ones. Like, how the hell do you pardon him?
Yeah.
And not just for what he potentially is being accused of. But since 2014, when it all first started, and his son would be the second person that he pardoned preemptively for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the Biden family.
Yep.
So the double standard blows my mind. The double standard of this
well.
of this party, of the Democrats, the double standard of this presidency, and then the double standard of their supporters, because people are losing their minds over when Trump was going to do it, yet they're quiet as a mouse when it's Biden's turn, and he's doing the exact thing that every single one of these people just said is ridiculous. It's a threat to our democracy. It sets a precedence for really bad things in America, and yet when Biden does it, the media, all these people haven't said a word about it.
And I have one thing to say to that. To everybody out there that voted for this administration, I told you so. I told you so back in 2019 when we knew that Biden was not all there.
Nope.
And when he was talking to that group of people saying, Corn Pop was a bad dude and he ran with some bad boys. You remember that?
Yeah.
He's talking about his hairy legs, rubbing,
the kids like to run
rubbing up and down. And I like talking about roaches. Okay, so he was not mentally there back in 2019. We all know that, right? In 2020, he campaigned in his basement, and then when he did get out of his basement, he had a grand total of 20 people at his campaign. So we know that he wasn't that popular.
Yeah.
But somehow he was able to manage getting 85 million votes. And then he got into the White House and did absolutely fucking nothing for his entire 4 years except fuck shit up.
Yeah.
And then on his way out, he just wanted to burn all the fucking thing down and give the biggest piece of shit in this world a fucking pardon. And so people are asking, well, what did they pardon him for? For everything.
Everything and anything.
He's got so much freaking dirt. He's got so much
And it's
dirt.
all truth. Everything that was in Hunter's laptop, that's all truth stuff. That's factual. We know it. We've seen the pictures. We've seen the videos. We've seen all
He
kinds
was
of
in court for it
Yeah,
currently.
so, I mean, the gun charges alone, he should have gone down for. You know what I mean? So, and I think, wasn't it you, Dion, that shared something that, was it Gucci Mane?
No, it's Boosie.
Oh, Boozy, yeah. He's asking Trump to take a look at his trial because he's like, I was convicted of the same thing Hunter was being charged with. Can you go back and look at my case? So, yes, the double standards, they're crazy. And while we're on it, let's look at a couple more because here's another double standard I want to talk about. Everyone knows where Trump stands right now with the border policy against illegal criminal immigrants. They have the biggest issue with it. They're calling them racist. They're saying that this is unprecedented, that this is absurd. I think we've talked before about the Clinton administration when Proposition 187 was intact. That didn't even have anything to do with criminal, immigrants per se, just the ones who came over here illegally. But that was about the extent of their crimes.
Yeah.
They weren't supposed to be here undocumented.
I think the biggest thing to preface before playing that is that you had sent us the video of the bishop asking
The
Trump
bishopess,
to
we'll cover her too, but
treat
yes.
them all fairly. But humane is the main thing. She said, treat everybody humanely, and we can't be getting rid of these illegal immigrants because they don't have anywhere to go, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, now you can play this because he is doing it just the same as anybody else would in his position. So,
but because he's Trump, it's all bad, right? So
Yeah.
here's another view of the double standard of the left. This is from our boy Barack when he was in office.
If you're a criminal, you'll be deported. If you plan to enter the U.S. illegally, your chances of getting caught and sent back just went up. The actions I'm taking are not only lawful, they're the kinds of actions taken by every single Republican president and every single Democratic president for the past half century. If you're a criminal, you'll be deported.
Yeah.
If you plan to enter the U.S.
I mean, double standard, bro.
That's how it always is.
Rules
right?
for
that
thee,
was great
not
when we
for
heard
me.
it.
Yeah.
That was great. No
one
complained.
blinked an eye, bro. It didn't
No
even
one.
make news coverage or anything, and the citizens of America weren't up in arms about it. They were just like, yeah.
That makes sense.
They got to go. They're aliens.
Yeah. And
now, now all of a sudden the narrative spun, which is proof and evidence, bro, that people don't think for themselves. they're following the leader. They're being told this is wrong by all these other political leaders in their, communities, and these celebrities and these, rappers who don't know jack about politics. They're following the lead, and then they're just saying whatever they hear these people say. As long as it's anti-Trump, they're buying it, bro.
Yeah,
it's
a hypocrisy is what pisses me off.
It's huge hypocrisy, bro. Huge hypocrisy. It's disgusting at this point. And the fact that people still look at Obama and Biden and all these people as they were good standing presidents, it's ridiculous. Even I love the fact that Obama spoke for us here and said every Republican and Democratic president has done this and will do this.
Yes.
Plain and simple. That's your guys' instruction from your great president, Obama, to shut the hell up and pay attention to what's going on and let Trump do what Trump has to do to make America right.
Well, and to make up for the 4 years that we didn't do this. Like,
Correct.
That's not okay, obviously.
This is bad, man. It's bad.
And then everyone is frustrated with the app getting shut down that the government had created.
John, hold on. Before we move on, I got to go back to the pardon thing. I'm not sure if we're going to cover it. Are we going to cover the January 6th?
Yeah. We are. We're coming to it for sure.
Yeah, I don't know where I was at. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate it.
Talking about Obama and the double standard between Trump and
I said last week that
captured it back.
I didn't mind Obama, and it's things like that. Like when he would bring people together more, but then at the same time also like the racial issues were at the all-time high. Then still there. So
that's where like all the anti-cop stuff started.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong. Maybe he didn't bring people together.
No, he pretended to at first. He pretended to by capturing the black vote, getting them into politics, bringing in all the rappers to politics. Putting them on stage with him, shaking hands, dapping them up, doing all that cliche, in my opinion,
he started
disrespectful stuff.
The influencers and
he started the pandering to minority groups.
Dude,
that's why I liked him.
Yeah,
when
we fell for it. I did too
young.
back then. I fell for it too. I was like, hell yeah, he's right. Finally, we got one of us in office. Like we all fell for it if we were of color. For sure.
When he did his first inauguration speech in 2008, it was like Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah,
like he is one of the best speakers that you could possibly.
I said it last week too. That's why
it's like, yes, we can.
He was highly likable.
Everybody, like black, white, whatever. Everybody was just like rallying and saying, "Oh hell yeah, this is gonna be the best president ever."
So that's exactly what Hitler did. Too?
I thought that too. I voted for him in 2008. Yeah, absolutely.
Hitler did the exact same thing.
Did what?
He talked really well. Really well.
Really.
Yeah, he did.
Got everyone fired up.
He got everyone fired up.
I wouldn't say he talked well.
Yes, he did.
No.
His speeches were fantastic to those people.
Dude, no.
They did the exact same thing.
Nothing like Obama.
I guarantee you, you go back and you watch the videos that the AI changed to regular English, and you'll be like, "Oh wow, that's impressive."
I have listened to him, and I wouldn't compare him to Obama.
Oh, I guarantee you, he
Hitler
studied
debate.
He studied speeches.
No.
That was like his forte.
No,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
The problem with that is the people back in the 20s and 30s when Hitler was doing those speeches, they were starving.
Yeah.
Their economy was trash.
Changes nothing.
What do you mean?
What does that
was
mean?
Rallying around Obama. We weren't starving
because he was
Our
black
economy was not
and
trash.
people wanted to bring color into the office.
You're talking
or what
about
are you
two different
saying?
things, though. You're talking about in America how we viewed him versus how did they actually view him in Germany?
The Germans?
Yeah,
they liked him.
They loved him. Didn't they?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And you're telling me that the entire nation was a nation of killers and murderers?
No, not at all. That's exactly what what I was getting at.
I'd say they loved him to a point. They did everything he said.
Yeah.
And then some.
It was everybody else that didn't like him.
The Jews didn't like him.
Yeah, I mean there was more than just
But again, were the
Jews
Jews told not to like him?
to
That's yet to be known. Maybe they'll release, the files on that someday, if there's any.
Yeah.
But let's keep on real quick while we're at it with the double standard. Everyone has seen at this point the Elon Musk, my heart goes out to you, snippets and clips that the mainstream media and all the left-wing,
So dumb.
people have been posting, a moment in time that they chalked up to be complete Roman salute and Nazism and all this stuff like that. Absolute crap.
That's the second time I heard it. Like, is that what it's supposed to be called? The Roman salute?
I think it's another version of it. Yeah. That's what people refer to it as. They call it.
Well, I know like the Romans,
the Hail
did
Hitler
that,
and the
but
Roman salute and all this
I
different
mean,
stuff. Yep. It just depends on who you talk to. That's what they're
I've
accusing
never
him
heard
of
of
doing.
that. Like in the Nazi era, them call it the Roman salute, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, that's the word anyway. To the point, the fact that people all of a sudden hate Elon just because he's associated with Trump is new. They didn't. The world did not used to hate him, or at least it didn't appear that the population did.
No, they didn't because they're all buying Teslas.
Right. But now all of a sudden there's this attack on him. Everyone, when Elon first came out to put his hand into Trump's campaign and say, "Hey, I'm for Trump. I'm going to donate millions of dollars to his campaign." Trump had him come out on stage. And he jumped around and pumped his fist and was just, I mean, his body language is goofy. The guy's a goofball, right? There's not a cool bone in his body, but he's the richest man in the freaking world.
He does throw some
So
ziggers.
everyone made fun of him for that. They're like, this guy's a goof. Look at his body language. He's weird. He's awkward. Fair game. He was. Now that he does this, my heart goes out to you hand motion where he touches his heart and then points his hand out to everyone. They're freezing that moment in time and saying, "This guy, see, we told you, he loves Hitler. He's a Nazi. These guys are racist. It was the signal to white extremists to take action. It's time. They're gonna come out now." And I'm just like, there's no evidence of that. There's no history that tells us that this guy is racist whatsoever. None whatsoever. But the double standard here is there's been tons of other people who have done this on the Democratic side. They've gotten pictures of moments in time where they're pointing their hands out, right? So I can't find the one that I had posted. I know, but I can't find the one that I had posted that showed a bunch of them doing it. And everyone's just like, that's just a moment in time. You just wrote. I'm like, that's the same with Elon. People are actually saying
the Tim Walsh.
Yeah, I know. People are actually. I got to get to that. Slow down, Cody.
God damn, you're just on one today.
This one's
I know
good.
because I'm trying to make a point before I show it. But to the point. People are like literally saying like, "Oh, I watched the full video of Elon. It's what he's doing. He's totally doing the whole Hail Hitler thing." And I'm just like, you have to presuppose that in your head. That's not something that you have evidence to back up to lead you to that conclusion. So there's AOC doing it. There was a bunch of other people doing it. Then I came across this clip that I'm going to show next just recently. And to me, it was like, all right, can we stop the nonsense now? Because I don't think either one of these people are doing the Hail Hitler. I don't think AOC did it. I don't think Kamala did it. I don't think Biden did it. And I certainly don't think Tim Walz did it. But the argument can be made if they're going to make that one about Elon. And when I posted this one on my story, not a soul responded to me. Not a single person said, "Oh, yeah, I see," or said, "Yeah, my bad," or said, "Yeah, he's a Nazi too." Then nobody did
posting
that.
these other things, you have people in your comments or your
They were
DMs.
tearing me up, bro. People, I got attacked by people I didn't even expect to get attacked by. You know what I mean? They were just some of it was like very, friendly, cordial conversation where we just agreed to disagree. But a lot of people were like literally trying to tell me, "Dude, you're a minority. You should see this. You should." And I said, "I'm not." And they're like, "Well, if you're not offended by it and you're a minority, I guess I don't know what to say, man. Good luck." And I'm like, I'm not worried about it because there's nothing there to be offended by. So here's Tim Walz doing the closest matching look to what you would call the Hail Hitler. I mean, and now you don't have nothing to say. And I promise you, he was saying, "My heart goes out to you." I promise that's what he's trying to tell them. My heart goes out to you, but it's just in a gesture. But nobody wants to call this racist. Nobody wants to say he gave the signal.
Well, I wouldn't watch that and assume it's anything crazy.
Right. And that's not the point I'm trying to make. I don't believe that that's what he was doing. You know what I mean? Even though I would say there is some history behind this guy that could make you believe he's racist based on the 2020 events in his city where he let black culture burn the city down. I still think that was a ploy to make black culture look really bad. You know what I mean? You told them, go out and riot, go out and don't stop until you're heard. Yeah. Like, bro, I'm sorry, but they won't do that to white culture. They won't do that to white culture. They won't praise them on and say, go get it. Yeah. So if anyone's racist, this guy looks way more racist than Elon does. But again, I stand by the fact that I do not believe that is what he's doing. I just want to point out to people, like, open your eyes, pay attention. Like, maybe do some research and some due diligence before you just jump to conclusions and say stupid things because you heard other stupid people saying stupid things. Because this is not what we're seeing here. So the double standard that we're seeing right now, the left is losing their mind now that they've lost the war, bro. they're losing their mind. Trump is undoing everything that they loved to have into motion the last 4 years. And so they're just reaching for whatever they can grab onto. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of what's
No, I
going
didn't even
on.
get to comment on it.
Oh, comment on it, Cody.
Jesus.
You have our permission to speak now.
Okay, finally I can say something. 2 points to this. 1 point. We already talked about it. Elon is well on his way to become a trillionaire.
Yes.
So I find it hard, and he owns multiple companies, and these are like booming companies. SpaceX being probably his biggest one. So
and I'd be willing to bet the majority of them are minority groups. You know, like the Indians and the Asians are some of the smartest cultures of people in his field. So, like, where's the racism there?
So it would be absolutely asinine for him to literally do that in front of thousands of people right in front of him, and then millions online. Yeah. That is dumb as fuck. The other point was, I have yet to, and this is just me, I have yet to meet a white supremacist. I don't know where they are. I don't know where this army is at.
Only Democrats know where they're at.
If you guys can find one for me, I'm not saying they don't exist. Of course they do. There's racists on all sides.
But they're not as bold as they want us to believe they are.
But they're acting like there's an army out there. And,
waiting, prepping.
Here's the signal. Okay, the white supremacists are gonna form up, and we're gonna start taking over cities. It's like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah. Where's this army? Where are these groups of white supremacists?
That's what people were arguing with me. Someone actually told me that this was a signal to an extremist, white radical group that they said, Elon gave the signal. And I'm like, even if that's the case, right? Those people exist right now. Elon doing that hand signal, if it was true, didn't recruit more racist people. More people didn't go, you know what? And now that I saw him do that hand salute, the hell with minorities, the hell with colored people. It's on.
Go racist.
So even if they took that as the signal, even though it's not the signal he was giving, but if they took it that way, there's not more of them now because he did it than there was before he did it. And they still haven't done shit. They're still scared to step up, bro. Like, these people, they stay in hiding, bro. That's why we haven't seen them. That's why we could walk around every day and not be concerned that some racist dude is going to run up. In fact, we're probably more concerned with a minority running up and popping us than we are some white supremacist KKK dude.
100%.
Let's just be real. That's the reality of the world that we live in. But that double standard there, man.
But let me ask you, John, and I know some of the people that were commenting or were messaging you, and I like those people, but were they ever on the other side?
Yes.
Recently they were on the other side?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
For sure. People are really split right now on Trump and his whole, cabinet of people he's brought in, bro. So, like, there's a lot of people who were once agreeing with our ideology, at least, and now they're like, whoa, wait a minute, man. Things are, like the Matt Kims and the, stuff like that. Like, we're seeing a crazy divide right now because people are like, this new billionaire class that Trump's bringing in, this still isn't what we wanted. And as much as I agree with everyone I got a lot of really good friends, especially from back home, that are super on this whole, like, government can't be trusted. Like, we got to stop letting these people control us, and these capitalists and these blah, blah. And they go on, and I'm just like, you know what? That shit's all true. I agree with you guys. But if we just sit back and pick our fucking noses, we're never going to inflict any kind of change. So we have to actually get involved. If we hate politics, we should probably get involved, because the reason why the government is running rampant and doing whatever they want is because the people who were supposed to hold them accountable stopped doing it. And it was probably by design. They probably made people hate and distrust government by design so that people would be like, I'm not going to do nothing. I'm not voting for nobody. I'm just going to sit back and do nothing and complain. And instead, I'm the type of person that's like, no, you know what? I'm into politics now, because now that I see what's going on, I think it's time for us to start voting, start trying to make a difference. The more of us that make an impact, the more reality that we have that the impact is actually going to make a dent. And then we have to hold them accountable. We can't just sit back and be like, I hate that person. We all agreed Trump was the lesser of evils. He's the best fit for the job right now. He looks good on paper. Now we have to watch and see what he does. And if he makes a mistake, we'll call him out on it. If he makes bad decisions, we're going to call him out on it. That's our responsibility as citizens of this country. If we just sit back and do nothing, we have no right to open our mouths and complain about anything.
100%. I mean, what we've seen in the first week, I guess it hasn't even been a week yet, but in the first couple of days, he's lived up to what he said he's going to do so far. As far as the executive orders he's been signing, could not be more happy with that. So we'll see. It's
So-
still early.
I listened to your guys' last podcast, and you were like, you were saying like, oh yeah, Cody's this like huge Trump fan, right?
Yeah, jocker.
Told you.
So jocks Trump.
So let's back to 2016. I was working at Swanson's Health Products here in town, and one of my coworkers, unbeknownst to me at the time, but we became friends. Turns out he's a Black Hawk pilot and in the Army National Guard here. And I tried to get him on, but he's very shy. So if you're listening to this, Rob, come on sometime. We'll get you on here. But I remember back then us talking. It was at the time it was Hillary and Trump were running against each other, right? And I was already a Trump fan because when he was, I think we announced in 2015, and then he went to the debates and whatnot with the rest of the Republicans. I was already a fan of his because of some of the shit that he was saying on stage to the other people. And like, I was young and immature. I was like, man, that's funny. He just called his wife ugly in front of everybody. And he was like called Jeb Bush like a pussy and shit. And I thought that was hilarious. So I was already a fan back then. I was like, yeah, dude, that's fucking funny. But then when you talk about with Hillary and Trump coming against each other, we know Hillary is a murderer. Like she's fucking killed people. And so I knew that Trump was going to win. And then so once Trump got in office, they went after him with all these indictments. He got impeached twice. He had control of all three branches of government, but everybody was against him. Everybody was working against him, even with control of all three of those. But look what he was able to accomplish in those 4 years. With everything that happened, impeachments, indictments, Russian collusion hoax, all that shit, right? He was still able to come out on top with those 4 years, working against the grain. And you cannot fucking tell me that he did not. After going through 8 years of fucking Obama, the economy fucking crashed. We were still in Afghanistan losing soldiers. We did not do fucking dick.
Like military wise and security wise for sure.
Economy wise, yeah.
I mean, it crashed right at the end, but yeah.
The economy was not good under Obama.
It wasn't.
I think COVID had a lot to do with the end crash, though.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's not his
can't
fault.
Blame the crash on also fucking Trump.
I don't blame it on him. No,
decision making, yes, because he was in
He did
favor.
a really bad job at decision making for sure.
The economy under Obama was not good.
I'm not saying it was. I'm not saying he did a bad job by any means.
And even just like public relations was not good.
I thought you were going to argue in your defense that you're not jockeying Trump, but you're just doubling down.
I'm going to let you
fucking get there. Okay, so fast forward. He obviously, 2020 happened. I think COVID was planned, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
85 million votes.
It was planned.
Whatever. 2020, George Floyd somehow happened months before that. They blew that up. The riots, all that stuff, right? Biden gets into the office. Trump sits back. And he's watching everything that's happened and continues. They go after him. They go after him with indictments. They go after him with all this shit, right? He gets in. They try to take him out twice. 2 assassination attempts. The guy's a billionaire. He continues to press on, right? He says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this, and he doesn't give a fuck. Trump's in office. Day one, he's signing all these executive orders about exactly what the fuck he said he was going to do. If you go back to the 1980s and listen to a video with him on Oprah, he's talking about everybody that's ripping us off across the world. Yep. And Oprah had asked him, he's like, would you ever run for president? He's like, if I had to, I'll run for president. This is back in the 80s.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Trump has not changed since then. He's always been the same fucking guy.
We talked about that last week.
He's always been the same guy. He hasn't changed. He's America first. He's always loved this country. But, granted, he's been blessed with being a good businessman, but he's always been that guy. And he's not bought and paid for. That's who he is. And that's why he is so successful. But he is fucking standing on business right now. Now, I think he's going to do exactly what he promised to do. But if he doesn't, if he fucks up, we're all going to call him out. I'll be the first one to say, I guarantee you, I'll be the first one to say, well, that's fucked up, right? I don't agree with that. That sucks. Yeah. I was a huge supporter of The Rock and all these Hollywood celebrities. And then they were trying to shove their political stance on me. And I was like, wow, those people suck now. Like, I can't even stand looking at the guy after seeing that. That actually kind of hurt because I was like such a big fanboy of all these Hollywood people. And I was like, wow, they're a bunch of pussies.
They all changed their tuning.
The Rock was the worst one because it was like right when Joe Biden got bad, like worse mentally. And he was like, Biden's got this.
So,
yeah, well, that was what was worse about The Rock is that he's like, I actually had to sit down with them.
Yeah.
And I believe this is the best thing for America right now. I'm just like, you did not have a sit down.
That's the biggest bullshit lie ever. Because if you know, Biden was not there. But the point is that I was, a big fan of his, and now I just could care less. So I'm obviously a big fan of the Trump dog, and I hope that he continues on what he's doing. But I can just already tell, like, I feel like I'm a good judge of character, but he is standing on business right now, and I think he's going to do exactly what he says he's going to do. So, but I will be saying if he fucks up, you guys will be the first ones to say, yep, that's fucked up.
It's been great so far, like I said, but what do you think about during his entire campaign? He didn't mention Greenland, he didn't mention Canada, and then now once he won, he gets in. Even before he got in, he just wanted to, talked about taking over Canada. I don't think he was serious about that.
He was trolling Trudeau.
Yep, 100%.
And he got him to resign.
What do you think about the Greenland
Trudeau's
thing?
such a pussy. He got him to resign.
I don't think that was all he did.
I think that the Greenland thing, I think that he couldn't say that during his campaign because it's so like crazy.
So out there.
It's so crazy. Yeah. But I think that he must have known something along the lines. Like, this didn't just come out of fucking nowhere. Greenland probably was reaching out to him and be like, hey, what do we if we make a deal or something like that? But they know that the Danes control Greenland at this point. And so even if he didn't, he knows how to make deals. That's what Trump is best. He knows how to make deals. He throws these like crazy ass statements out there, but he brings people to the table. And that's what I think he was doing with Canada too. He's like, fuck yeah, we'll make you the 51st state or something like that, right? But he knows how to bring people to the table.
Do you think
even
that's
if
a bad
crazy
idea to bring Canada as the 51st state? Do you think that's a bad idea if you were to go through with it? That's a very big liberal piece of land.
I know. I heard that too. The thing is that like 90% of the Canada is inhabitable. They're all on the southern side, which is crazy, right? So, are you saying like for voting standards, like
for voting standards?
I don't know. I don't know if that would affect us at all or not. I'm not sure. I would say
Canada's kind of flipped.
I feel like Canada's shifting because I think Trudeau got a lot of fucking
he had like
pressure.
a 17% approval rating.
Trudeau got a lot of pressure
on the way out. So,
but everybody knows that
like
he's
him.
gay and he's
what do they say? He's the son of
Fidel Castro's.
Fidel
Castro's bastard child.
Well, he looks like it.
He does.
Identical.
But Greenland, dude, Greenland would be so awesome if we made that. Could you imagine if we made that a territory of the United States? So we could fly there. We could just be there as U.S. citizens. But that's like, awesome. There's so much rich land over there. And
they talked like there's gems,
strategic bases,
minerals that are just sitting there that Denmark is taking.
Yeah.
I listened to, I think it was on Charlie Kirk's podcast. He went there and talked with a lot of people there, and that's what they were saying.
Yeah.
And there's also U.S. military bases now already, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So that's another reason. Maybe if we get more troops over there, we can make that happen. I'm not against taking Greenland or getting it, I guess, if they want to.
Acquiring it.
Yeah, acquiring it. That's a better word.
Yeah, I think I just need more clarification on the what and the why and all that stuff. Like, it really came out of left field. Not to say it's a bad thing, but it came out of left field, and everyone was kind of like, see, he's trying to take over the world. And I'm just like, that is a bad look, but I don't think that's what he's doing.
Even like the conservatives.
I feel like that has a lot more to do with protecting our borders than anything. You know what I mean? Like those are places that it makes it a really easy access to
look,
us.
Guys, look at China. Nations. Look what China's doing. They're fucking taking over the world.
They're running the Panama Canal
everywhere.
Right now.
They're in they're in Africa, they're in Brazil, they're everywhere. So the only way that we can compete with China is by doing the same damn thing. But we're not going to take it over like with military force. We're going to buy that shit. There's only 50,000 people that live there.
50,000.
50,000. That's it in Greenland. That's it. It's nothing.
I didn't know that.
It's just it's a very.
Why would we
small
give them
community.
trillions of dollars for it? Then I saw like the
Because
price
it's
points.
rich, dude. It's rich.
I know, but if there's only 50,000 people, we should muscle them up a little bit.
Well, that's what people are worried about with Trump doing, but that's not. Dude, I guarantee you that place is probably worth 50 times that of that amount with all the minerals that they have there. But it's a very strategic location. So I hope it happens, dude. It'd be fucking nuts. It'd be absolutely nuts.
Agreed. All right, let's jump in again here.
That was my rant.
Good. Thanks for the rant. Let's look at something else here. So now that Trump's in office, like we talked about, he's been signing executive orders. He's been revoking all kinds of orders. He's been doing or rescinding orders. He's been doing all kinds of crazy stuff. One thing that has come out that's been a real hot topic right now is President Trump announcing the Stargate project.
Yep.
So the Stargate project is an initiative aiming to invest up to $500 billion in artificial intelligence in an infrastructure within the United States over the next 4 years, which would be a collaboration between OpenAI, SoftBank Group, Oracle Corporation, and the investment firm MGX. And what they want to use this for, on top of like job creation and other things, is to create mRNA vaccines for things like cancer and AIDS and all this other stuff. I'm not really sure how I feel about this. It's kind of sketchy. It's a lot of money to put into something that is already
100,000 jobs though.
Sure, but how long will they last with AI being the focal point of what they're doing?
I mean, how long is any of these jobs going to last with AI?
Yeah, I know. And I agree. Like we have to almost jump in and get a piece of the pie too, because it's going to happen one way or the other. But it's just been a really hot topic. So let's talk in on that.
Go ahead, Dalton.
Did you say $500 billion? That
$500 billion.
Keeping it in the States is obviously a good idea. Creating jobs here, but like you said, like the AI scares me. I talked to you about it the other day that I don't know if I like $500 billion going to a company that's going to be strongly AI based. I don't know how those jobs are going to be sustainable anyway. So like you said, our jobs, who knows?
OpenAI is the #1 AI platform right now. They're the leading one in the United States. But the problem with that is China is fucking killing us in basically everything, industrializing everything. So we're basically in a space race, but not just with space, with just everything, AI, military tech, building stuff, whatever, infrastructure. We are in a race right now with China. And I think
that's what this is primarily about. It's like we're trying to make sure we can match what they're doing so that we don't
they want to overtake them.
We don't want to fall behind. Yep. And it was huge for the stock market too. They said like the stock market's jumped, they surged like, what was it, 6.8% when they made the announcement.
Yep.
However, Elon has come in and said that he's skeptical about the financial ability of these companies that are involved. So he calls into question that's even doable.
I will say, I know that the vaccine stuff scares people, and it should, because we were all lied to, over this last 4 years. But from what I gathered, and I listened to a guy that he was a doctor or something on Fox News today. From what I gathered, that they're doing is they're creating this technology that if you were to get cancer, they would create a vaccine specifically for your body that would go in and target these cancer cells and kill just the cancer cells and then eliminate that. So you won't have to go through like chemo or anything like that.
Attacking your real healthy cells.
Yeah. It would just kill the cancer cells. So it'd be like little nanobots like in the movies that would go in and just fucking destroy the cancer. So if that's the case, then I'm all on board, dude. That sounds great.
Yeah,
that sounds great. I don't see a problem with that. It's just the problem with what I've heard is that when you create these AI systems, you use data that's on the internet, right? So if you feed it with bad data, it's going to use the bad data.
Right.
So that's where the problem is. So if you get like these bad actors that have this data and they feed the AI system, then that creates a problem.
More jobs for us.
Yeah.
So people got to protect that. So that's how it works. I mean, I feel like we can't stay behind, and we definitely can't stay where we're at. The whole world is always trying to get better in one way or another, and AI seems to be that way right now. So we've got to be at the forefront of it, no matter what.
Yeah, it's like we're in a new kind of war.
Yeah,
where it's like a keep up war. You know what I mean? Things are advancing so quickly with technology, and now AI at the forefront of all the technology. I mean, you get left behind, you lose your superpower. And right now, we're a superpower.
I remember when I was in DC, 2022, we were talking. I was in the place I was working at, talking to. He was like an admiral in the Navy, so he was pretty high up there. We were talking about hypersonic missiles back then. Like China is like got the most advanced hypersonic missiles, and that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're. I don't know. I don't know if we're behind the curve. I hope not.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if we're behind the curve, but I know that we couldn't wait any longer. We couldn't wait any longer. Like if Biden was on for like another year, I think we'd have been toast.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what our military presence does after this. This is going to be. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see this war settle, the Putin-Ukraine war settle.
Can't let Putin get this money.
Yeah, and then for them to maybe shed some light on where all those hundreds of billions of dollars went that we gave, and maybe try and get some back if we can. I'd like to hear the point of view of some of the Ukrainian soldiers that were fighting on the front line.
Did you guys see that Zelensky, he wanted to go to the inauguration?
Yeah, he tried to get invited 3 times, and Trump just ignored him.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
I didn't see that either. Yeah. That's funny, though.
That's funny.
All right, cool. Well, so we don't know yet. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but it seems necessary to at least try, right? Yeah. So we'll see where that goes. Let's take a look at another one. Let's talk about immigration and border security.
How about that middle picture right there?
Which one? Well, that's what I was going to get to with that. Yeah. So while we're on the topic of immigration and security, let's make the announcement here that Trump has said not to worry, that thick Latinas will not be deported. So you guys can all breathe a breath of fresh air. We're
100% Barron's idea.
Yeah, Barron's gonna become something. Watch, like you can already tell
he's gonna be the next.
He's got that popular vote behind him.
Yeah, he'll be the president one day.
So let's look at some of the stuff here regarding immigration and border security. Right. So it's been declared a national emergency at the southern border, and he's deployed 10,000 troops to strengthen security. Continued construction and extension of the border wall. Reinstated the Remain in Mexico policy for asylum seekers. He suspended the U.S. refugee admission program. He issued an executive order to end birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants, a policy likely to face legal challenges, and I do agree with that. And some of the claims, too, they're saying that the executive order ending birthright citizenship is a lawful exercise of presidential authority. They're saying the reality is, though, that legal experts widely contest this claim, asserting that birthright citizenship is enshrined in the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. There is a Seattle judge who temporarily blocked the order, and the Department of Justice has vowed to defend it, indicating ongoing legal battles. So what are our thoughts on what's going on now at the border? We also heard today that they're sending Marines in, and they're giving them the full force of war. They're saying whatever you would take to go handle a situation in war, you take with you to the border, and if you're shot at, you take full response.
Did you?
Awesome to hear that.
Yeah.
Did you guys? Do you have the video of the Haitian guy? He said, "I'm not going back to Haiti, and I hate Donald Trump and
Biden forever."
Biden forever. Yeah, he said everything. Thank you, Biden, for everything you did for me. Yeah. You don't have that one in there?
I think I do. I gotta find it real quick. Let me see.
That one was wild. I can't believe. I can believe it. I'm happy he's leaving.
So, as far as like the birthright citizenship, I don't know how I feel about it. Honestly, I just know that the United States is the only country that has it.
Yeah,
really.
This boy right here, right?
Yep.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Thank Obama for everything he's done for me.
Ice Boston quickly
Skipped
takes
right
down
over
its
Biden?
next targets,
He said Biden, but
including
then he
this
said
illegal
Obama.
alien from Brazil who has an Interpol red notice for armed robbery. This Salvadoran illegal alien charged locally with rape and released
Get him
by a
outta here.
sanctuary
See ya.
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Yo, ¿cómo se llama?
And this
So here's
Dominican
another
illegal
crazy
alien
thing about all
charged
this too right now. A lot of people, the citizens of the left, have been posting nonsense on social media. Like my daughter told me today that some of their friends are telling her boyfriend DJ, you better make sure you're walking around with your ID or your citizenship card and this and that. And I'm like, they're not just randomly picking off brown people.
Yeah, he's
they're
not
going
even, like-
they're going after people that they know are illegal immigrants
all,
and criminals.
I think I'm browner than
I was
he
gonna
is.
say
but-
he does not look brown.
I know,
at
but
all.
because he's native, they're warning him, like, and I'm like, where are they going to take him? This is his native land. That's why they're called
Yeah.
natives. Like, this is how ignorant the people are
That's
thinking
so
right now.
dumb.
That's
Yes,
just idiotic.
It's
and
really
he's like
bad,
6'7". They're like, where
Right.
would he be from?
But still, what are you going to do with a native Indian? You're going to be like,
Yeah.
I'm taking you back to, you could stay.
That's funny.
Like, that's
I
all you
told
could do.
Today, or yesterday that I had people on Facebook saying like, "How could you support this? They're gonna try to deport you too. You look
Yeah.
like the people they're trying to deport."
You're American.
Just it's insane.
Yeah.
That's
like-
racist.
It's absurd.
Just said, like,
Yeah.
that's racist.
Yeah. It's
would you say
absolutely
that?
racist, man. It's absurd. So yeah, what did they said they've so far rounded up like 500
Yep.
criminal illegal
In a day and a
immigrants
half.
in a day and a half. I mean, they're just
Awesome.
there's posts going around too. I saw like somewhere in California they're claiming that Border Patrol is just going knocking door to door on houses. I'm like, no, they're not. There's no truth to that.
100% not.
That's a waste of
They do not
man
have
hours and
resources
time,
for
bro.
that.
They're going after where they know these
Criminals.
people are. They're identifying them and then they're going and picking them up. They're not just randomly
running
snatching
in.
brown people off the streets. Bro.
I saw a lady that I follow and went to school with. She had posted on her story today that healthcare workers need to understand what their rights are as healthcare workers and that their duty is to protect the people that are in the hospital. And if ICE or anyone in those organizations comes into their hospital, they need to either see that they have some sort of jurisdiction to be there, or they should not be giving away the names of their patients, basically. And I was like, that's fair.
They're going to get criminally charged.
Yeah, and it'll
yeah.
be interesting.
Did you see the Chicago mayor? What
Yeah.
he said?
What did he say? He said he's going to protect them.
He was going to arrest the ICE agents
What?
that come into Chicago.
If they tried to
insane.
do that.
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yep.
And you want to see what Chicago's doing right now? Like, they're
Holy crap, that's wild. I was just gonna mention that Bishop lady, how she said that many of them are like janitors. They're doing. The
Oh,
Yeah, she called them all
concept.
as slaves, essentially.
Basically, the
Yeah, they
cheapest
do all the
labor,
slave
shittiest
labor.
job.
Yeah.
like, you guys are doing
These
the
people do
crappiest
our
jobs.
dishes
Yeah.
and
We
like,
do our dishes,
take
they
out our
mop our
trash.
floors,
and
mop
Do
yeah.
our laundry.
I'm like, man, these people do not
That's
think
terrible.
clearly, bro.
It's just like what Biden said when he was
Yes.
getting elected. He's like,
Exactly.
I want to know who picked that freaking bishop lady to
be the one there.
I
for
think
that prayer.
she's
the
the leader
pulpit.
of that church.
Drives.
That's
She
bad.
is Episcopalian, something in California.
Yeah.
No, in Washington. She's
What-
the leader of like 30.
Is that
She's an
the-
activist though, too.
Is that the National
They've-
Cathedral?
They've shown that.
Yes.
Yeah, that was.
What?
Yeah.
She's there at the National Cathedral?
Yep, that's where that was.
That's got to be a appointed position.
Yeah.
Get her out.
Yeah, and Trump responded to
You're
that when they
fired.
asked him. He was like, "It was a horrible service. It was
He said it was
boring.
boring.
It was boring. it was uneventful.
He
And,
said-
and she should
He
apologize
said
to
she
me.
should apologize first. He said that was completely inappropriate and it was not.
Yeah,
the
she
time or place for
politicized
that.
prayer, and that you just don't
she
do
said
that.
in the name of God,
Yes.
and then transgender children in the same
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah.
Drives
Yeah.
me nuts.
That
Well, she's
is-
clear. You could tell she's a lesbian.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
you could see it written all over her. And then she's an activist, which I think most lesbians are activists now. So like that's another tie-in right there.
And
so,
a boomer, too, on top of
yeah,
that.
it's crazy.
What's a liberal point of view to not bring in? We talked about this last week. Politics and religion to keep it separate, and she just tried her hardest to use the religion to make Trump to sway his views. It's not going to happen.
Bro, the look on all their
Drove me out,
faces on
yeah.
JD Vance and Trump's daughters.
You can
and,
tell he was just like,
oh man, they were just like, this can't be real.
So birthright citizenship, what I don't understand is, so they won't be able to take it away from people who are already citizens in that manner then, right?
Correct. What they're saying is you
In the
don't get
future.
it now.
Yeah.
You don't get it.
Yeah.
now.
So
Right.
Chase had got me with some stuff. I was like, I don't think that's how that works, but I don't know.
I've been
so.
arguing that point with people all day today too. They're just like,
It's just-
I don't know.
They're
I
going to
didn't know.
take these kids, and I'm just like, you guys don't know what you're
That's not
talking
how that
about. Do
works.
some research,
it's,
man.
It's people that are trying to come over here just to have kids so that they can make it easier for them to get.
Yeah, that ability has now been revoked.
Which they said a lot of women came over that were pregnant.
Yes.
So there will be some kids that were born and that they would take it away from then.
Not if they
think
were
that-
here
yeah, I
when they
think
were born.
Even if it was the
Kids are
last
safe.
year or two and they got.
Well, they're not pregnant anymore. Then those kids are already be born. Then
They're
I'd
already
say
born.
that
So
they're
then they get
safe.
to stay.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Missed the
bro.
cutoff.
But then their
But
parents have to
people
go.
people want to
Yeah.
smear what he's doing so bad. They're just making up lies.
No,
and
I'm
saying
just asking a
nonsense.
question. I just
no, I
didn't
know. I'm just saying
understand.
in general though. That's why that question's being asked to you is because people are hearing this nonsense. They're like, oh my God, they're really just going to sweep these kids up and take them out of here. And I'm just like, come on. But the idea that Trump would be so vicious and cruel is something they're making up in their heads. Everything he's done so far has looked very just.
Yeah.
In sense of what he's trying to make happen for
So
America.
what if they do? Would they have to give up their kid for adoption if they wanted it to stay in the United States?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think
I
they'd
think
let
he
him
would,
stay?
No, I think the family would stay. I don't think he would deport the family.
That would be interesting to see.
I don't think so.
Well, Tom Homan
It
says
depends.
deport family.
Yeah,
send
it depends.
kids back with
I
us.
think it depends.
Tom Homan, everybody.
He
the
didn't
dogs,
say
the
if it was
cats.
kids that were born in the past 2 years, though. That's what I was like. Okay, I get it. I get it.
I think what Tom was saying was that when the kids were with them,
Yeah.
they come over, they're all illegal.
Take them back.
Send
all
them
of them
back.
together.
All of them.
Yep. Yeah. 100%. That's what he
With
meant.
the
Yeah, he
kid
didn't
being
mean
born
the new
American,
kids.
that's an American kid.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
but I'm
change
saying so those people would get to stay then, the parents.
I would assume that.
You
I
have
can't-
to assume that.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't.
I actually don't think so, but we'll see.
But as a
I don't
parent,
think
what
the
if you
parents are
want?
getting to stay?
What if
I mean, going forward,
If it's a baby though, that's an American, they're not going to deport an American.
exactly? So
The child stays, the parents go. Is what I always thought that was like. The
But
mother
then
would come.
or
and
they
have-
go to the adoption agency.
I believe so. They go into foster care
If the parent
adoption
chooses
agency.
to.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the parent has to leave. They're here illegally.
but they can choose to take their kid with them, or they can
I don't
leave
know.
their kid.
I don't know.
We'll see how it
Pretty sure
goes.
That's how it goes.
Yeah,
'cause they
but
cross the border,
I
have
believe
the
that
baby.
you're right.
It
Yep.
could be.
Just to
Could
give the
be.
baby a better life, and then hopefully
That's why you-
speed up the process of getting themselves across the border.
Bro,
sooner.
let's put it this way: if you think that's inhumane, what about all the parents that are sending their kids over here by
By
themselves?
themselves.
Yeah.
They're putting them in truckloads of people
There's still
under floorboards
300,000
of
kids
the back
missing.
of trucks, and their parents are staying behind, and they're sending their kids and saying, "Good luck, go get the American dream." Like that's inhumane.
Well,
So
where's all the energy of the 300,000 kids that went missing?
yeah, well, we don't talk about that because
They're
it's
supposed to
conspiracy
go to
theories.
Foster family, or I don't know if that's the word. Host families, and the host families have to check in on the kids, or the kids have to check in with the host families, but they just never do.
There's a whole nother
know where they
conspiracy on the host family stuff too. So that would be
I
a whole
think
nother
the foster
episode.
system.
It's corrupt.
It's
corrupt.
bad. It's bad.
That's why Clintons have businesses in it because
Haiti.
they're evil. Yep. All right, let's look at some more here. So now let's look at some executive orders and rescissions. So they rescinded 78 executive orders from the previous administration, reversing numerous policies right out the gate, which was awesome to see in here. And then another big one here is he directed federal agencies to prioritize merit-based hiring practices, eliminating identity-based considerations. This one's taken to the internet like crazy on social media because everyone, including the news and TMZ and all these people, are posting that Trump has revoked the 1965 Civil Rights Act. And that now, no one's going to be able to get jobs. There's not going to be any equality or any fairness. First of all, it was at the federal level. This is what he's talking about. And he's saying that we are now a meritocracy again. You have to actually have merit to get into the position. We're not going to give a job like our security or our Secretary of Health. You're not going to get a job just because you're a trans who's fat, obese, overweight person. Like, no longer will they do that. Or just because you're black and you think, well, you don't have enough black people working here, so you have to hire me. We're not going to play that game anymore at the federal level.
Oh, you want to press sec?
You will have
Being black.
competent,
Gay and black.
you will have competent, capable people working in every position within the federal government. That's what he's saying. That's what he did. That's the only thing he did when he did sign this executive order. He just said no more. Everything has to be merit based. If you're in a federal position as an employee, you will have to be qualified for that position. Now, if you just so happen to be trans or black or whatever you are, and you qualify for the job, you'll get it. But you're not going to get it just because that's who you are without the actual background and the merit to actually do the job well.
Who's mad about this though?
The whole world.
It makes no sense.
The whole world, but they're mad because all they're hearing is that he rescinded the 1965 Civil Rights Act, and half of them don't even know what the hell the Civil Rights Act is. But that's what they're saying, because that's the way the media is wording it. They're not saying that what was the? I'll tell you right now. It was the Executive Order 11246. That is the only thing that he did, is rescinded that, which was basically saying you have to have merit to have a federal job now. You don't get to have a federal job because of equality or equity or whatever the hell they're claiming now. It's just simply based on merit, which is the way it should be. It should be a meritocracy. If you want to have good, like, look at how bad employment has been in the last 4 years in any position, not just federal levels, right? In any position. You can't get customer service that's worth a shit anymore at a local restaurant or, anything, because people don't want to work, and because people are getting jobs because they say they deserve to have the job, not because they're capable of doing the job. And so we have to suffer as citizens.
Look at the LA fires. Like,
there you go. There's a perfect example.
That's a good example. Like the LA fires of the police chief or Louisiana.
Yep.
That's another good example.
Those were all DEI hires.
The FBI agent who is now moved on to another station. Did you guys see that?
They were all DEI hires.
They moved her and said, "You're fired." No, they didn't fire her, but they moved her immediately after that because that was a DEI hire.
So essentially, DEI is dead at the federal level. It's a done thing. And now he did say, though, you have to stop DEI hiring, in big corporations and stuff like that too. We got to get to that point. So hopefully that comes, because I agree across the board.
Did you see what they're doing now? The ATF, they changed the chief diversity officer position to the senior executive.
Yeah, they're recoding the positions to try and disguise them.
Yeah, I saw those.
But they're onto it already. The Trump administration already said, not happening. You need to let us know how you decoded everything so we can make sure we get rid of those people.
They're going to catch them. They're going to catch
them all. They will.
John, do you have that video of Mike Johnson talking to the reporter about meeting with Biden?
talking about?
Yeah,
when he asked
that one was fucking insane.
That he talked about this order that Biden had signed, and Biden said he's
like, "Oh no, I didn't sign that."
Yeah,
it's like, "Yes, you did."
I don't have that on hand, but
do you have a video of him smiling for the first time in 4 years?
Yeah, a lot.
I think I sent it, but I'll look for it. You guys keep talking.
Yeah, well, let's move on to another one here because we got a lot.
Did they actually put the federal some of the federal employees on paid leave because they're going to get fired?
I don't know about that. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So I was wondering, but I don't know where or what aspect. So that's interesting.
Well, here's another big one.
Yeah.
Energy and environmental policies. So one of the biggest things that we did is we withdrew the United States from the Paris Climate Accord. We also initiated the process to withdraw the United States from the World Health Organization, which is huge. I think that should have been done a long time ago. These people are crooked, corrupt, wicked, and they have way too much say-so over the way we do things in America, and I hate that. So they should be gone for sure. Yeah. 100%.
I mean, did you see we spent $500 billion at the WHO. Guess how much China spends?
So
not nearly as much.
150 or something like that?
30.
Was it 30?
They have 3 times as many people as us. We spend 3 times as much as they do.
Yep.
That's why Trump did that.
Yeah, there's no discussion about that. That's just good to be done.
Let's see.
Cody, what do you think about Trump pausing all foreign aid for 90 days?
I think that we have to take care of our own before we can take care of anybody else. We have to lock down the southern border first. We have to figure out what's going on with inflation. We have to figure out what's going on with our military. And then once we get that done, and the 2 disasters that we have, major disasters.
Yeah, we got to get them more than $700.
Dying in fucking like North Carolina, they're up in the mountains still freaking freezing their ass off. So how about we take care of our own people before we start sending any money?
I'm all for that. I don't care how it looks or sounds either. I'm all for that.
Oh, all right. We've sent a lot of money.
Yeah, to hell with everyone else. We've sent trillions of dollars in the last 4 years to other nations and hundreds to the suffering people of America that have experienced natural disasters and all kinds of other crazy.
770.
770, yeah. They're made. They're good.
Yeah, they'd be fine.
And now Newsom's trying to sell off their land.
Dude, I can't wait until he resigns. I hope they bully the crap out of him to get him out of there. I don't know.
They need to scare him out of
This is a big thing for them to get him out of there.
I think they have to. They have to. He's got to be gone. Like, I don't get how one person can be so bad yet stay there, even with cheating and like just do the too big to rig over there in California. Like, and then people like there's celebrities that have come out and said like, why are people texting me and asking me if I'm okay? Like, you don't care about California. You don't like California. Like, why are you asking this? And I'm just thinking to myself, you're right. Why am I asking this? Why do I care if these celebrities are okay? Well, I mean, I care about people first off, so we don't want people to get hurt. But second off, like there's a bigger agenda to this. That I mean, they didn't start the fires purposely, maybe. But
well, there was a video of Biden. I thought it was fake right away, but I did a little research on it. Biden was talking with somebody about how the houses in California that had like blue rooftops or that were blue houses, they did not burn at all. And then if you start a fire,
this is a touchy subject. Be careful.
You better relax.
Cody don't like. Cody don't believe in. You don't believe in lasers, bro.
You don't believe in
it's
lasers?
The lasers. Direct energy beam.
They're saying if you,
it's real.
It doesn't burn blue, the color blue. So there's still
they've shown scientifically that that's proof. But he doesn't believe that we have lasers up in the sky that can reach.
I'm not saying
I've seen it doesn't burn.
I do. I believe it 100%.
Oh my God!
I'm not saying it's from the sky. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how the fire started, but I'm saying
they started from a bunch of fucking illegal homeless people.
No, they did not.
With the blood
but there's
torch.
houses that have the blue rooftops that are still standing. You can see pictures if you take a drone and go over. I don't know how you.
Same with the blue cars.
But there's other houses that.
And I sent you guys the videos of China. They're all painting their roofs blue right now.
Yep.
Because of things like that.
That video is old as fuck. Though.
No, it's not.
I've seen that before.
Nah, you haven't.
I've seen that exact.
No, you haven't.
Yeah,
no, you haven't.
I've seen that.
No, you haven't.
We talked about this.
You never sent
talked
it to
about
us to debunk it.
Gaslighting.
No,
right?
we talked
No,
about
you
the
haven't.
exact same thing back when we were talking about space lasers.
Anyway, the lasers are legit, bro.
Before you play this, I was listening to PBD and they were talking about this. So when Mike Johnson got into the speaker, he was because I guess there was a lot of shit going on, like national security wise, when he was brought in to be a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So he tried to get a meeting with Biden, and they kept pushing it off and said, "No, Biden's busy. You can't meet with him right now." And he's like, "What?" He's like, "We have all this stuff going on. We need to meet." And finally, they had scheduled a meeting with him at the White House. And so Mike Johnson goes there, and he walks in, and there's a shit ton of people there. There's like the head of the CIA. You got Chuck Schumer. You got Kamala Harris.
All his babysitters.
You got all these people in the room. And he's like, "Okay, I see what this is, right?"
They can't let Biden speak for himself.
So then, Biden was like, "Oh yeah, let me get a minute alone with Mike Johnson," and then you could see that they all started looking at each other like, "Oh shit." So then, go ahead and play this.
So this is the end result of that conversation they had.
Real quickly, Mr. President, can I ask you a question? I cannot answer this from my constituents in Louisiana. Sir, why did you pause LNG exports to Europe? Like, I don't understand, liquefied natural gas is in great demand by our allies. Why would you do that? Because you understand, we just talked about Ukraine. You understand you're fueling Vladimir Putin's war machine because they got to get their gas from him, And he looks at me stunned with this, and he said, I didn't do that. And I said, Mr. President, yes, you did. It was an executive order, 3 weeks ago. And he goes, no, I didn't do that. And he's arguing with me. I said, Mr. President, respectfully, could I go out here and ask your secretary to print it out? We'll read it together. You definitely did that. And he goes, oh, you talk about natural gas. Yes, sir. He said, no, you misunderstand. He said, what I did is I signed this thing we're gonna conduct a study on the effects of LNG. I said, no, you're not, sir. You paused it. I know. I have the export terminals in my state. I talked to those people this morning. This is doing massive damage to our economy, national security. It occurred to me, Barry, he was not lying to me. He genuinely did not know what he had signed. And I walked out of that meeting with fear and loathing because I thought, we're in serious trouble. Who is running the country? Like, I don't know who put the paper in front of him, but he didn't know. Real quick.
It makes so much sense why he always looks so depressed in everything I ever seen him do in the last 4 years.
Mike Johnson?
Yes. He's always looked so like just beat, you know? Like a defeated. Yeah.
Just defeated.
Absolutely. And then just to see him smile on an inauguration day, like I was like, oh my God, that's special.
Yeah. But just think about that though. Like I remember like when Biden was there the very first day signing executive orders, he had no idea what he was signing.
Hell no.
They would just throw it in front of him and he was just going like this.
But I will say this now, in fairness, we've all watched Trump signing things the last couple of days, and they're just handing him envelopes and saying, he's going, what's this? And they tell him what it is. He goes, oh yeah, and he signs it.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's true.
So he's not exactly reading through them to make sure either, unless he's done that beforehand. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I've witnessed Trump doing the exact same thing the last few days. So I'll be fair and say that.
I've watched it too.
Yeah.
And I mean, it seems,
so that could be the very thing they did to Biden.
What they are, though, like you would assume that the guy that's handing them to him
you can trust him.
Is his most trustworthy. Or one of
and
the
if they're not,
people.
Trump's going to eat him alive. The difference, I think, is the competency level.
Yeah,
right. They could do it to Biden. They could pull the wool over his eyes, no problem, and they did. Obviously,
even
I don't think they're pulling the wool over Trump's eyes, whether he read him or not, too.
Yeah.
But just so people don't think we're all one sided, we do see things both ways, and there's a possibility that they could do that to Trump. But I do think he's way more competent.
But that went on for 4 years.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean.
That was on for 4 years.
That's the difference of competency level between Trump and Biden.
Shit. Well, who's behind the steering wheel?
I think we all know. I think we all know.
Different people.
Yeah, I mean it is multiple hands at play, but we all know who was leading that.
If you're gonna bring it back up, then you got to click on the one that you had down below. That's on his personal life.
Which one?
Go down, scroll down a little bit more. That one to the right, up top right.
This one?
That guy?
Oh, we're coming to that one.
Yeah,
we're coming to that one.
Dude, yeah, what the
We're coming to that one. Yeah.
I wonder, that'll be interesting.
Good. Yeah.
But like Cody said, I mean, Trump is signing executive orders that he had promised to sign from that's what he ran
day
on.
One.
Like that's what he
literally said day one, and he did all his day one shit.
So like I'm sure he did some pretty good reading through those and figuring out what he wanted.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, that one's coming up too. So let's jump into this one real quick then too while we're at it. So one of the other things that he's done is his some of the pardons and legal actions he's taken. So he granted pardons to individuals convicted in relation to the J6 Capitol events. So the media narrative is the pardoning of individuals involved in the January 6th Capitol events has been depicted as an endorsement of political violence with concerns that it undermines the rule of law. In clarification, President Trump granted pardons to certain individuals convicted in connection with J6 events, describing their actions as very minor incidents. The administration argues that these pardons are acts of clemency aimed at national reconciliation. Critics, however, contend that such actions could set a dangerous precedent by excusing unlawful behavior. And the biggest argument I've heard anyone make about that so far is the couple of Proud Boys that also got off on the J6 thing. And Trump responded, this was a live address that he did, and they asked him this question. He said, look, regardless of who these guys are, basically, they were put in prison for tearing down an anti-American flag, and they got years. And if we want a fair and just legal system, those guys could be anybody in the world. What they did was not deserving of them being in prison for years on end. And the entire last 4, maybe even 5 years, people have been burning the American flag on government property time and time again, and none of them saw any sort of justice whatsoever. So I agree with Trump. I agree with Trump. As a minority, I'm not mad that these so-called Proud Boys got the pardon as well, because I think that's fair, and let them go make some mistakes and somebody maybe kill them, or they find themselves serving real time for something that they really do wrong. But if we want a fair and just legal system, man, we've got to play both sides of the fence correctly.
100%. I agree.
So there's that. But yes, he pardoned them all. And this got crazy because, as we know, the jail wardens were refusing to release prisoners in some states, and they had to send the U.S. Marshals up in there to yank these people out. So there was that. There was a bunch of things happening in terms of these guys getting pardoned. So it was a crazy situation.
They were treated very poorly.
Oh,
in
yeah.
this jail. Marjorie Taylor Greene was a big advocate for these people, and she would go and visit them, and she said like the conditions of the jail was really bad, and they were treating these people very poorly.
Yeah.
Some of these people,
they just walked through open doors.
They didn't even get a freaking court case. They just got thrown in the jail without a court case, or they got just railroaded with the time that they've got slapped on them.
Some of them have been in prison for 5 years.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Most of them did multiple years back to back though so far. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane for what they did. And what we witnessed happen around the same time frame where nobody had to serve time, and the ones that got arrested for burning down cities and all this shit, they got bailed out.
Yeah.
See, and my
It
biggest
made no sense. And that's what I mean about the fairness of the legal system. Those people did not display equality, which is the one thing that they love to spit out all the time. They didn't display that.
They took over an entire city block
in multiple states,
and
but
nothing happened.
You're saying the protection of these political figures is more important than the protection of our everyday citizen,
right?
If you think that is okay,
that was the
precedent
rioting
is
that they
okay,
said.
and this Capitol rioting wasn't okay,
Right.
which neither of them were okay. But
the
that's what
Capitol
happened.
wasn't hardly a riot, and the people who did the most damage at the Capitol were feds, bro.
Yeah,
they already showed that factually.
Yeah.
They got video evidence of it, man.
And the people that were going toe to toe with the police officers, we're not advocating for that either.
They were Antifa guys though too.
But you got to realize, I mean, they did 4 years.
They did 4 years.
4 years of time already. Like, well, how long do you want them to go?
Yeah.
Because I know people that get drunk, they hop in their vehicle and they kill some poor innocent girl.
This is what
that get 5 years or less.
So Chase sent me the video of Trump talking to the reporters, and he's like, yeah, you pardoned this person who tased a cop and he had a heart attack, blah blah blah. And he was like, yeah, did I pardon it or did I commute it? He's like, yeah, you pardoned it. And he's like, we'll take a look at it. And that was it. And he could go back and he could take a look at it and see what happens. But with that being said, he served 3 to 4 years. What do you want him to do? And then I brought up the example of the person who got drunk and killed that girl, got 4 years on vehicular manslaughter while driving drunk. Like, that's insane. So for somebody to tase a cop and get 4 years, I mean, that's justified, But
Time served.
That's it. That's time served.
Yep.
It's not like they're going to get settlements for being wrongly persecuted against. That's not how that works. They just get to get out.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
So is it ideal? Should we just be handing out pardons to everybody? No. But should we judge people unjustly? No, we shouldn't. Should you go to jail just because everybody else that was there went to jail? No, that's not how that works.
Right.
It's not.
Well,
But that's what they did.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he knew that they didn't get a fair trial, and that's the biggest thing is that they didn't get a fair shot.
Definitely.
And that's not good.
That's not how court works.
That's not good.
Yeah, you're
So-
innocent until proven guilty. That's how it works.
They did their time. Like, if they're gonna,
No, it's now guilty until proven innocent.
That's what it's showing.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
it used to be like, what did they call it? Crime prevention. Now it's crime invention.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's sickening to see people be so up in arms about that. And then I was watching earlier today, just kind of a guy who did a YouTube video on Biden's presidency and things that he did well and things he didn't do well. And they went over Afghanistan again. And when you think of Afghanistan and all the people that were protecting and trying to get people out of there, and the people that were harmed, the military members that were harmed, people died, and nobody is going to get in trouble for that now. I mean, Joe Biden could maybe, but I doubt it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one's going to get in trouble for that. And that's just as bad, if not worse. It was worse. It was worse by far than the Capitol rioting. So if you want to go ahead and talk about he pardoned these 1,500 people, like, okay, well, Joe Biden participated in getting all of these people killed and leaving all of this military equipment here in Afghanistan. So let's really dive deep into what matters.
not only that, but if you look at the graph of the pardons compared from Trump to Biden Biden pardoned like 7,000 some, including murders and rapists.
Yeah. Child rapist.
The term was he granted them clemency, so they still have the charge on the record, but he got rid of all of their jail time. People who were actually criminally conved of rape and murder.
So then they get to go home, but
they get to go home. They're still considered a murder on their record, but they were granted clemency, so they no longer have to spend another day in jail.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So for all you people who always say, "Oh, if you rape somebody, you can die," or that's you don't deserve anything in this life, like that's
Biden does not agree with you. On that note, too, while we're talking about Biden and the things that he should be in trouble for, I want to share this video because I thought this one was pretty cool too.
This guy went around giving everybody pardons, and you know the funny thing, maybe the sad thing, is. He didn't give himself a pardon. And if you look at it, it all had to do with him.
Ooh.
It's crazy because
that seems a little threatening.
Trump
right?
was just talking about before, last year. He said, "I think that presidents should have what's it called? Immunity."
Yep.
Yeah, immunity, and then this happens.
Pissed.
He's like, "No, fuck you,
Rightfully
dude."
so. He's pissed.
Well, we called this back then, like maybe this was part of the plan of Trump.
Yeah.
He wanted to play into their hand and say, "Hey, president should have immunity," and they were like, "Nope." And he's like, "Okay, cool,
Awesome. You guys said it. Thanks.
got it, Roger that." You know,
Dude, he was playing freaking 40 chess.
yes, he was. He was 100%.
It really was.
So here's another cool one, just kind of in regards to some of that here. So speaking of the pardons in the Biden family.
It was shocking. I mean, it was shocking what President Biden did on the way out, pardoning his family for more than a decade of whatever activity, any nonviolent offenses. It was breathtaking to us. I don't think that's anything like that's ever been anticipated. And by the way, go look at the tape. 4 years ago, when it was just implied that President Trump might do something similar, they were apoplectic. Joe Biden himself, Adam Schiff, Chuck Schumer. Roll the tape. They all said that would be crazy and unconscionable, and now they're cheering it along. To us, it is disgusting. To us, it probably proves the point, the suspicion that they call it the Biden crime family. If they weren't the crime family, why do they need pardons, right? Yeah. Look, there's a lot of attention that's going to be paid to this, and I think that is appropriate, and we will be looking at it as well. So, yeah.
That's about all they can do, though. That's about all they can do.
They're just going to bring it to light, hopefully.
They got to show the American public.
If they expose it, because can't people still be tried at the state level?
It would be so difficult, I feel like, to do.
Not all. Like Fauci's preemptive pardon, his pardon was not. He can DeSantis is still trying to get him in jail in Florida. Right. His was a federally pardon, or he was pardoned federally, but he can still go to jail in the state level.
See, I just don't see that happening. I don't see that.
Or Russia.
That's I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. Putin's talking about they want to try Fauci, extradite him and try him in Russia. Yeah,
take him.
That would be awesome. I don't think it'd happen, but that would be fucking awesome.
It would be. I don't see them getting Fauci. I don't see them getting Joe Biden. I hope they don't. I don't hope they don't live forever, but I
hope they get him.
I hope they do, but I don't see it being likely, and they are very old. I mean, Joe Biden's 82 years old. I mean, you should get his son for sure.
Seems older than that.
Is he 82, right? I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, he does seem older than that, but that is old when you think about it. So, but Fauci's very old. Fauci's in his late 80s, isn't he?
I don't know about that.
Is he older than Joe Biden?
I don't think so.
Is he younger?
Yeah, I believe
he looks gross too. Then never mind. But
I think after this election, after Trump, when he's done, I really do believe the next election we will no longer have two old dudes.
No,
I don't think so.
I definitely
done with
we'll have a much younger guy in presidency.
Because if it is JD Vance who's running next, or whoever it is, I'm sure Vivek Ramaswamy will run again.
I want them to run against each other so bad.
Okay, I'm glad you guys brought that up. Okay, so listening to the PBD today, and they were talking about Vivek, and I think it's just rumors right now, but supposedly he's stepping down from.
He's already out.
He had to. He had to.
Yeah.
Because he's running for some kind of political office in Ohio.
He's running for governor of Ohio.
Yeah, yeah. Also, and so he can't have an affiliation. It's like a conflict.
Some type of discussion that they were having.
Vivek posted this himself.
He did. Oh, he did?
He posted it after he was out of Doge. So I did see people like PBD talk about basically two alphas, him and Elon, going at it, and Elon has a lot more money, obviously, so Elon is going to stay in Doge. Vivek is going to be out, and I saw some people speculating maybe he's only going to be the governor of Ohio because he's no longer a part of Doge, and that's why he stepped into it. Either way, now that he's running, he can no longer be part of this administration at all. But we don't know if that's because he was already kicked out of Doge somehow, or if, like, what happened first? He's governor, or he got kicked out of Doge?
Well, I think something happened.
But he was at the inauguration and everything, sitting with all of Trump's people, too.
I think he has to be.
Yeah.
There was talk that him and Elon didn't like each other the whole time.
I could see that.
Really?
I feel like I wouldn't like Elon if I met him.
Really?
Yeah. I already didn't like
smart.
His business practices were really bad. We've talked about it on the podcast before. Like,
I think I can get along with him.
If he gave you some money, maybe, sure.
He seems like a fun guy.
Yeah, he'd be like, let's do Nazi salutes together.
he knows how to throw some zingers in there. It's funny.
Yeah. I can't imagine he'd be any funnier than any of your close friends. I mean,
his podcasts are pretty dry. They had, like, the people who are running the podcast that he's on, they have to really, like, get it out of him because he's a little socially awkward.
I don't think you would be as keen to him.
I don't think I would dislike him. I just think he would bore the life out of me.
Yeah. Dude,
and he would talk way over our heads.
Whatever. Yeah. Whatever, dude. You guys are just too dumb.
Trump, on the other hand, he'd probably be your best friend.
Cody's like, I got this IQ. I'm good. All right, let's look at some big stuff.
Big stuff.
That stuff was mid, bro. So here's the big one: the release of historical files.
Yep.
So Trump has signed an executive order as of today to release all remaining classified files related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. This action has been hailed as a major step towards transparency. The release of the files related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King, and Robert F. Kennedy has been the topic of intense speculation and conspiracy theories for decades. So here's a little summary, and we'll go one by one. With the JFK files, some of the speculation and conspiracy theories are there was CIA involvement. Many conspiracy theories suggest that the CIA was involved in the assassination due to JFK's attempts to reduce the agency's power after the Bay of Pigs fiasco. Foreign governments. There's speculation that governments like Cuba or the Soviet Union may have had a role in the assassination given the Cold War tensions at the time. The Mafia. Some theories allege that the Mafia was involved in retaliation for Kennedy's administration, cracking down on organized crime. There's the second shooter theory. Files might shed light on whether Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone or if there was a second shooter on the grassy knoll. And then Oswald's links to intelligence agencies. Documents might reveal whether Oswald had deeper connections to the CIA, FBI, or other intelligence agencies. They won't say it out loud, but I believe that means the Mossad. And then the magic bullet theory. Files could provide insight into... Cody hates when we talk about that, doesn't he?
It's got to come up.
Leave the Jews alone.
It's got to come up.
Magic bullet theory. Files could provide insight into whether the Warren Commission's single bullet theory holds up under scrutiny or if the evidence was manipulated. So these are all the different conspiracy theories and speculations about how he was killed or in which method was used, etc. So
what year was that assassination?
63?
4, yeah, I thought it was 63 or 64, something like that.
I was just going to ask if you guys remember much about that, but I don't think you would then.
I wasn't around then. Yeah. I just looked like that.
Oh, yeah. But they were
not that old.
They were.
I'm just trying to date you guys.
It's been a record a couple weeks, and you guys aging my ass, bro.
John's like 75 in our eyes.
I'm gonna start dyeing my damn beard again, man.
We were getting him last week.
I know. I heard. They were actually talking about that on the PBD podcast. So. The Warren Commission was the commission that was in charge of investigating it, right? And so I think they were looking at alternate theories, and this is a couple of years after the assassination. But what they were looking for was a piece of his skull that was blown off, obviously, of his head, right? Mm-hmm. To see the trajectory of the bullet or if there was another bullet or something like that. I'm not really sure. Mm-hmm. So they went into the evidence room to look for this piece of the skull that they knew that they had. It was gone. The piece of the skull was
which could only be inside job.
Did you know that one of the people who was leading the investigation was somebody that Kennedy had previously fired, and then once he was assassinated, they brought him back on to help lead the investigation?
Do you know what his name was?
I do not know.
I don't either. I was just wondering.
No, but I mean, he goes from being fired by Kennedy to now he's leading the investigation on how he got.
Did you know that he was gonna keep us out of Vietnam, but then once he was assassinated, Johnson got in, and then we went to Vietnam?
See, I know nothing about this assassination, even though we.
So
learned about it in
one of the
school.
theories they didn't cover was that LBJ is the one who had him killed.
Yeah,
and
I saw a little bit about that today.
and so there's we have a clip actually. It's kind of long. I don't know if we should show it, but and it's totally speculative, right?
And we
now.
just don't know the people.
We don't
the
know if
guy.
it's real or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there's a whole bunch of theories. This will be one of the more interesting ones. I think no matter what comes out, I think it's going to change the course of American history and.
How they see government.
Yeah, like how we're going to view government. Like this is going to be game changing.
Dude, it's crazy because Kennedy was. I'd hate to compare him to Trump, but he was kind of like the anti-establishment guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
they always try to assassinate those guys.
He was against the grain, even though he was a Democrat. But the party lines changed. But he was an anti-establishment guy, and they took him out.
So what did RFK do? Who I didn't even know he was assassinated.
It was his brother.
Not Robert F. Kennedy was his brother.
That's the new RFK's dad.
I got that part.
That's where the junior comes from.
You got that?
I got that
Keeping
part.
up, D?
I got that far.
We don't mean to Elon Musk you over here.
Yeah.
He got
assassinated?
Yes, he did.
Where at?
He
was it Massachusetts?
I don't remember where, but the guy that shot him was named like Sarah or some shit like that. And supposedly, this is just what I heard, the assassin said that he didn't do it. It wasn't him.
So was he a politician running for president?
He was a politician.
Was
but he was like a big shot lawyer.
He was a senator or something.
He was like a big shot lawyer and a senator or something like that. Or
so he just killed him just
because. That's what
because?
fuels like RFK Jr.'s motives to go and get this shit all uncovered.
In fact, when Trump signed this executive order today, he said give this pen to RFK Jr. that he signed it with.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's really dope.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with Martin Luther King. His assassin like took off, and when they caught him, he was like, "It wasn't me."
Well, let's look at this one for MLK real quick then too. So here's some of the speculation and conspiracy theories around that one. So they have government surveillance and involvement. Some believe that the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover had a role in MLK's assassination due to Hoover's known disdain for MLK and the civil rights movement. There's James Earl Ray's role. Theory suggests Ray might have been a scapegoat and not the sole perpetrator of the assassination. And then there's COINTELPRO operations. Files may reveal the extent of the FBI's COINTELPRO activities, which sought to discredit and disrupt civil rights leaders. And then there's military involvement. Some speculation exists that military intelligence or other shadowy entities were involved in eliminating MLK due to his opposition to the Vietnam War and economic justice campaigns. Isn't there a theory, too, about him being suffocated or something like that?
I don't know about that one, but I heard that the FBI had sent him a letter basically trying to blackmail him into killing himself, saying that they have all this dirt on him, and they're like, your only way out is just take care of it yourself.
Wow.
I'm excited to learn. That's going to be so cool.
Be awesome.
I think it's something important that the American public need.
Yes.
Because we need to. It might be something to bring us closer together, but we have such a distrust in our government right now.
Yeah,
and that is going to be so eye opening and send shockwaves.
The tough thing is like I'm telling you guys right now, I don't know anything about RFK. I didn't know much about MLK either, and like I wouldn't even know where the lie is.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Wouldn't even know where the lie is,
Excuse
dude. I know what he did. I just didn't know about his assassination and like how he was killed.
I don't know much about MLK either. That's not. I mean, the RFK one.
They're not teaching that no more in school, huh?
Well, they probably taught it. I just wasn't a very good student. What do you mean, right?
I would agree.
So I'm excited to learn about the truth right away instead, you know.
All
That's
those
better.
guys died. Like, I want to look up the dates. Do you have the RFK one?
Yeah, I'm going to do that one next. So here's some speculation and conspiracy theories about RFK. There's a second gunman theory. Questions remain about whether Saran, the convicted assassin, acted alone or if another gunman was involved, particularly given reports of additional bullet holes at the crime scene. Then there's CIA or deep state involvement. Some speculate that RFK was targeted because of his stance on ending the Vietnam War and his intent to investigate JFK's assassination if elected president. Then there's mind control allegations. Theories suggest Saran might have been under hypnosis or mind control, citing his claims of memory loss and reports of experiments in behavioral modification at the time. So this guy might have been MK Ultra'd. And then the motive cover-up. Files could explore whether RFK's assassination was linked to efforts to suppress political movements or prevent his presidency. So here's another cool list. Here's some things that could be revealed in the files. Some redacted information. Previously redacted information such as names of individuals, agencies, or foreign connections might be disclosed, providing new leads. Intelligence activities, insight into CIA, FBI, or other agency surveillance and operations at the time of the assassinations. Foreign involvement, confirmation or dismissal of foreign government ties, such as with Cuba or the Soviet Union in JFK's case, and maybe the Mossad. Autopsy and forensic evidence. Files might clarify inconsistencies in autopsy reports or ballistic evidence for all three cases. And then there's witness testimonies. New testimonies or accounts that were classified due to national security concerns might emerge. While the files could be explosive, the revelations could potentially expose government misconduct. It confirms suspicions of intelligence agencies' overreach or involvement. Validate conspiracy theories, simply provide legitimacy to the long-held beliefs about hidden conspiracies, or discredit official narratives, challenge the conclusions of the Warren Commission for JFK and the House Select Committee on Assassinations or other investigations. So this is going to be huge one way or the other.
It will be.
There's so much that could come out that could change what we understand or what we speculated. I mean, like they said, there's a lot here, man. And mind control is, we know MK Ultra was started about that time.
Yeah.
That's when they started experimenting with it. Mind control could be involved in all of them for all we know.
Yeah.
Just a matter of how close they got. Yeah.
Dude, watch, like, then they can come out with, like, the 9/11 stuff, and then they can come out with the Trump assassination stuff that was more recent. I hope before he's out of office, he gives us a little insight as to who tried to assassinate him. Because in his inauguration speech, it seemed as if he hinted at the people who were in charge of the government to be at fault for his assassination attempt. So it's very interesting. Obviously, we have our own presumptions.
How do you think, like you asked earlier, Dion, how do you guys think they're going to release this information and when? Like, do you think it's going to come out, you know, just a bunch of random people are going to get documents and start sharing, or are they going to do some kind of press release?
I hope a press release. Right. I hope we see the speaker or hopefully Trump on stage talking about it.
You think he's going to go over like all the information though? It's got to be documents on documents.
That's got to be tons of papers.
You would assume it's going to be.
I think that it'll just be open sourced. Like you can go
government website,
read through it yourself.
Yeah, download it.
That's what I'm hoping.
That would be the best way. I think
somebody's going to make the most.
Because then we could just let a lot of other people dissect it for us.
Someone's going to make the most bomb documentary on that.
For sure,
dude.
For sure.
It's going to have videos and everything. That's going to be amazing.
I'm willing to bet you they sell those rights before they release anything, so they can make sure the right people put it out. You know,
I'm hoping a YouTuber does it. That'd be sick. That would be the way to go.
Sean Ryan,
illegal culture brand should do it.
They're gonna give it to Sean Ryan. They'd never give it to us, bro.
How much work that would be? It would be.
I'm an anti-Semite. They don't want to give it to me, bro.
Yo, dude.
Yeah.
Don't say that, dude.
It's all fun.
For you guys, you guys were alive during this time.
Are you sure?
Yes, for sure.
Hey, you old
this
guy.
Not that long ago.
When we had like different sinks for white.
You guys were born in the. You guys were born in the 1900s, weren't you?
I'm referring to Bush because I saw. During the inauguration, Bush was standing.
The look on his face.
Yeah, they were like. The look when people are gonna like the files of what you did.
When you fear that Trump might release the 9/11 files on you, so he had this scared look on his face.
I know he was a Republican president, but was he well liked at the time?
Oh yeah, Yeah, he was. He was like former military badass pilot who killed a whole bunch of other enemies in war. I mean, he was known as a bad dude, bro. Like he was well respected. He was liked. Like back then, the narrative was totally controlled, though. You know what I mean? We didn't have the internet and all that crazy stuff like we have today. So they were able to really control the narrative and make people like whoever they wanted them to like.
Seeing people talk about how he really seemed frightened for what could come. Maybe that could be completely wrong too.
Yeah.
We have no idea.
But I would love it.
Yeah,
because we
I would too.
know there's a lot of weird stuff. We know there's tons of conspiracy theories, and we know all of it points towards him and his behavior about when they announced it. Like when he was in the school, you know what I mean? And they came and told him, he sat there and just didn't even move. He like froze up almost when they were like, supposedly they say the Secret Service came up to him and said, "Sir, America's under attack." And he just looked at them, turned around, and started listening to the teacher read again, and just sat there for a minute. Like he froze up. That was like, to me, that was guilt, bro. That was like fear and guilt all instilled in one moment for him. And then he just kind of like slowly stood up and they took off. So that was weird.
I've seen that clip, and I guess I interpret it like if I was in charge and someone came and said that, and you're on camera, you have to, you can't
panic.
But you're at a damn kindergarten class, bro. Like how on camera do you think you are at the time? You know what I mean? I mean, I know there's cameras there, but like how
was
serious?
It live?
I think it was.
It was live at the time. Yeah.
Yep,
live kindergarten.
Because he was reading a book with.
Weren't the kids reading something about a plane crash too, in some weird conspiracy theory? I've seen that.
So he was elected again after, correct? He had his second term was after 9/11, and because maybe he used the fear of 9/11.
Well, didn't they make like hundreds of millions of dollars off of this thing happening because they had money and like so like they made hundreds of millions of dollars after.
What would happen was he would have this press conference. He was standing on the fucking rubble of the Twin Towers, and he was talking into this megaphone, and somebody in the back of the crowd was like, "I can't hear you," and Bush goes, "Well, I can hear you. And the people that knock these buildings down, they're going to hear all of us pretty soon." And everybody's like, roar. It was a roar.
So I know it brought the country together like never before. And I've even heard people say like,
we got goosebumps just saying that.
Like we need not
like that
second
speech?
9/11, but they're like that the country's never been more together than it was at that moment during this massive attack.
Yeah.
So and then that's what led to going into Afghanistan, correct?
Well, like
that moment.
So they had hearings and everything, and then for some reason they started talking about weapons of mass destruction, saying that Iraq and Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction.
They didn't, correct?
And that no, they had nothing over there.
Mm-hmm.
There was no reason to go to Iraq at all. Yeah. Right.
Also, it was one of those things where coincidentally, like passports survived everything, but the towers didn't. So they were able to quickly pin it on terrorists. Mm-hmm. Yeah, weird.
And Afghanistan. So Biden.
Biden's fault.
Obama. they're all the same, bro.
What is his name, dude?
7
Bush.
years later, 14 years
Osama.
later.
Oh, Osama.
Osama was in Afghanistan at some point, but then he escaped to Pakistan. Or
Obama was closer.
But we were in Afghanistan for fucking 20 years.
But don't forget to mention that we first trained Osama under the FBI before he became who he was.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And so we killed Osama in 2010.
That was crazy.
Supposedly.
He's dead. He's old as fuck, dude.
He was old.
And we left in 2021. So we went to Afghanistan for Osama right when it happened. Like, I'm talking about within 48 hours, we were in Afghanistan, boots on ground.
After 9/11, 48 hours after 9/11?
Yeah, we had special forces on ground searching for him. And I think that they knew where he was, but got called down or something like that. So we killed him in 2010, but we stuck around for 11 more years. And now you ask yourself, why? What was in Afghanistan?
Oil? Is that the answer?
Always.
Poppy fields. Heroin.
Really?
There were soldiers guarding poppy fields.
U.S. soldiers?
Yes. What is in Iraq? Oil. Not only that, but Dick Cheney was the CEO of Halliburton, who was in charge of rebuilding all of Iraq. So he used his own company to contract to rebuild all of Iraq.
What was Cheney's position at the time? He was
Vice president.
Vice president.
Well, what's the big problem with Liz Cheney?
I also
She's a
that.
dyke.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's,
what
that's
did
the
she?
main- That's
she
why
got
everyone hates her.
She got pardoned, didn't she?
Yeah.
For what though? What did she do?
She was on the January 6th committee.
Oh,
They deleted
What
all of
is
their
the
evidence.
January 6th committee, though.
So it was like shift to shift, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger.
What did they do though?
They were holding a committee just to basically charge Trump with something about January 6th.
Okay.
But they literally
did
deleted everything and they destroyed all the evidence.
But she didn't do anything else besides being a wife to Dick Cheney and that.
She was a Congress lady in Wyoming.
I'm saying she didn't do anything like bad that we
Super
know
criminal.
of other than being with Dick Cheney. And
Well, she's Dick Cheney's daughter.
okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah.
That
Dick
makes
Cheney
more
shot
sense.
a guy with
Huh?
a shotgun.
He shot himself.
No, he shot. Didn't he shoot a
Oh,
secretary?
he shot his friend or something.
Yep.
Or somebody. It wasn't his friend. Maybe it was just some
It
random
was
guy.
the guy was in.
He shot him.
Didn't he also invent the internet?
Who?
Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
No.
Who was that? It was. I'm pretty sure they
Never
say
heard
he's
that
the one
one.
that.
I didn't hear
Cheney,
that
no.
before either.
Yeah, we should look that up. I'm pretty sure.
Look it up.
Yeah.
Look it up. Dick Cheney did not. Dick Cheney was like, he worked on fucking power lines. Like he was a drunk.
I have one more question for you about the Afghanistan and Iraq stuff, because that, I mean, I there's tons of stuff I don't know, and that's super interesting. So in that time, were you in the Guard at that time?
I joined in 2006.
Did you go overseas?
No, not to Iraq or Afghanistan, but a lot of friends did.
So
But
what
even
was
at that time, everybody was on board.
What was the? So I guess right after 9/11, I'm sure everybody was willing and like more than excited to go over there to fight for the country.
Mm-hmm.
But then we go from 2001 when it happened, fast forward 2010, he's dead. Then 2015, what was the morale like after? Like, you killed him, now we're still there for 11 more years. Why are we here? Were people like, why are we here? Were people happy to be there?
I think there
Or
was
at
a
least
lot
still-
of questioning going on. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like,
Mhm.
what are we doing? There's no point to being there. And the people there don't like us. They don't want us there.
Mm-hmm.
They're not helping. Like even the tribal people that they would talk to, they would go and tell them exactly what we're doing and where we're at to the terrorists or the people we were fighting. So it was pointless. It was absolutely pointless. And I think that's the biggest problem with a lot of military people have now is we did that for 20 years. We spent trillions of dollars. We spent thousands of lives. And what did we get out of that? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get anything out of that. And that was based off of a lie. That was based off of a lie from the government, saying that we had weapons of mass destruction there, saying that Osama bin Laden's right here. Let's go get him. Okay, let's go get him. But why are we sending the entire force there? And why did we stay there for 21 years?
Great question.
Yeah. So that is our government lying.
I just watched a video 2 days ago about what they did with Osama's body, and I didn't know this until 2 days ago that they
Dumped
tried
him
to-
in the ocean?
Yeah, they with like 400 pounds of chains around him because they didn't know what to do with his body, and they tried to respect his religion to some extent. So they had to get rid of the body within 48 hours. Iraq didn't want him. Afghanistan didn't want him. They tried to give him back to these countries, but also the U.S. didn't want to give the body back to certain countries that would celebrate when this body came back. But then even the people who he was following him in Iraq, they didn't want him back there. So Iraq denied taking his body, and like half the world, 90% of the world was not claiming him. The 10% that did, the U.S. like, we can't give it to them. That's going to cause more problems. So they just dumped it in the ocean.
I wonder if that person that did that would ever come forward.
Person who dumped him?
Yeah.
No way.
That would be so cool.
That'd be
Let's get him on
insane.
the pod.
That would be so fun to talk to him.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking of with the Dick Cheney thing. I remember hearing something along those lines, but
Who
it's such
started the
old-
internet?
I don't know. It wasn't Dick Cheney though.
I think that would be the first thing I'd look up is who started the internet.
Why? I just asked what his involvement was with the World Wide Web or the internet, and there's really no relation there.
There's a really good movie on Netflix called VP. It Christian Bale plays Dick Cheney, and I swear to God, dude, his mannerisms, the way he looks, everything imitates Dick Cheney. But you'll see how much of a POS Dick Cheney is by watching that movie.
Yeah.
Do they try to shed him in a light that makes him look like a piece of shit too, or they try to stay neutral?
It's what happened. Well,
okay.
I should say there's a moment where they're in the bunker when the towers hit, and he's like calling all these shots. We don't know. Nobody was in that. Nobody will say what happened or what was said in that bunker. We're just assuming that's what was said. But all of the other shit that they're talking about, like what I brought up with Colin Powell saying that Iraq has these weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, that's in the movie. Who's the guy that plays Medea's house or whatever?
Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry plays Colin Powell.
Point at me. Like, I know that.
Hey, you knew it. You knew it.
So
good guy.
Yeah, but
no, he's not.
Watch VP on Netflix. It's a good movie.
John, where were you during 9/11? What do you remember about it? Like,
I was living
smoking a blunt.
I was living in Vista at the time, and I believe I was on my way to work when the first plane hit, and I got into work, and everyone at work, like, I worked at a hardware store at the time, and everyone there was like just bugging out. Like, girls were crying, and there was a dude, my homeboy Rico, I'm still friends with him. He played for San Diego State at the time. He was going to visit his family in Texas, I believe, and one of the planes was coming from somewhere that everyone thought that they were saying it was Fort Worth, Texas, but it was something similar to that. So everyone thought he was on one of the fucking planes that had crashed, and so like everyone was bugging out at work and shit. And then my godson was born at the exact time that the second plane hit. So Loeb's son Christian, he was born on 9/11 at the exact time of the second plane hitting.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I was living in Vista.
Did he have
San
it on the
Diego.
TV?
I don't remember if they did.
I know,
or
like
not,
every
but-
generation has that one thing where they remember where they were.
I'm gonna be playing Trump videos just like on the TV while she's giving birth.
Speaking of giving birth, let's finish off with a couple more things here. What Trump, one of the things that he did was an executive order on biological truth. So some of the media narrative on this is critics are arguing that the gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government executive order disregards the existence of intersex individuals and enforces a rigid male-female binary, which is not reflective of biological complexities. In clarification, the executive order emphasizes policies based on a traditional understanding of biological sex, defining gender strictly as male or female. The administration contends that this approach is intended to provide clarity in federal policies and uphold what it terms biological truth. However, medical experts and human rights organizations have criticized this stance as oversimplifying human biology and potentially marginalizing intersex and transgender individuals. Another hand clap here on this one. Like, we got to get out of this nonsense, bro. Male and female, that's what it should be. That's biological truth. You can call yourself whatever the hell you want to. You can believe in whatever you want to, but you can no longer teach, preach, and indoctrinate that nonsense in schools and in colleges and force it down other people's throats in the workplaces. You could be as weird as you want. That is the great thing about freedom. But we get our freedom too, in the sense that we should not have to play your bullshit game. And that's where I stand with it. I believe that this was a really good move. And
I think it's great. I think we need to get back to stronger mental health.
Yes.
And that's what one of the things I was looking forward to, and I know you guys are all TikTokers here, but I feel like TikTok was a big culprit in
this fool's got a TikTok account before any of us.
I do not have
I don't even
TikTok.
have a TikTok.
I don't have TikTok.
I found you on TikTok. Don't be lying.
I don't have TikTok.
You had one.
No, I didn't.
You lie.
No.
You lie, bro.
Dude, look it up.
You didn't have a TikTok when it first came out?
I maybe downloaded it.
See, if you had
4
TikTok,
years
he's
ago.
about to get you right now.
I only have my businesses on TikTok, and I don't even actively use them.
All right. So, anyways, what I was saying was, I feel like during a lot of 2020, that's what got a lot of these kids to think that they're trans, right? I think their algorithm was killing them. So I guess my hope is if the United States owns 50%.
Oh shit! That's you with a bald head.
The fuck is that, Cody?
Cody Malk on TikTok.
Oh, fuck. Is that you?
He got a bald head too, bro. That looks identical to you. It's your clone?
You got a filter on.
That's you.
That fool forgot he had TikTok?
That is an old fucking man.
That's Cody Malk,
And you're
bro.
wearing mascara in that too, bro.
It's the only video on there, bro.
That's fucking creepy.
Is that you, bro?
No.
Look at it, Dion. Tell me that's not Cody.
He's trying to delete it off your account.
Maybe you had
It's a
a
filter.
military cut or
looks like you have
something.
I've never had bald hair.
Or it could be a filter. That was Cody, huh? That's Cody, bro. You got a doppelganger with your name, bro?
That's not you, bro.
Yeah, he had a crew cut, bro. High and tight, baby. He was high and tight in that picture.
I thought his face had a filter on it. It's just his face. His eyes had a filter
That looks
on them.
exactly like Cody. I mean, that's a high and tight military
He's
regulation.
confused. He thinks it's him
Yep.
too. He's like, fuck, that is me.
That's not me.
I don't think it's you.
Anyways,
That
as
fool
I was
looks
saying,
like Cody, bro.
From a distance, I definitely thought it was
That's
Cody.
the craziest thing.
doesn't look like me at all.
I agree with you, Cody. It was 2019, 2020. We said last time, the first time I was on, I think, how COVID made all these kids just dumb.
Dive
made 'em-
into their phones.
It's because all they had. They couldn't
Yeah.
leave the house.
Right.
So TikTok blew up, Instagram, Reels, whatever app they were using, it all blew up and social media became their lives. And they came out of it weird as shit.
Yeah.
All of these kids. I was lucky I was 18 when it happened, so I was already like probably
Drinking
as
and
bad as
partying.
I was already as bad as I was gonna get.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. I just graduated high school. They let me out of high school 3 months early, and then we just had to make my last couple months of high school were just making videos once a week saying what I did that day to entertain myself. And then I graduated.
That's insane.
Yeah, but like, so I was already out of I wasn't going to be stupid anymore. I was already, damage was done. But the kids who were 14, 15, super
Screwed.
young, yeah, they're the ones who are the fairies today and the animals.
Yep.
It's sad.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my hope with the United States owning, I guess, the potential sale of TikTok would be the United States owning 50% of it. I would hope that going forward, our algorithms are better, I guess. I don't know.
We just have to continue
I don't think so.
to be men and show that our kids that what it is to be a real man. And that's,
You just
that's
gotta
really all.
we gotta become better. We gotta create better leaders in the
Yes.
men of this
Yes.
country, man. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Starts with the
And
father.
now we have an opportunity to really do that, and it means something because we're ending all the nonsense right now. We got the next 4 years to really capitalize on it.
Yeah.
So
That's
Before
why
you go to the next thing, I had a question that I saw today. I was watching Bradley Martin's podcast, and he had somebody on who was big onto OnlyFans. And then Brad was talking about if they're going to get rid of TikTok, why not get rid of something like OnlyFans that is like obviously detrimental to mostly men, just fucking up their brain. They're making bad decisions, spending all their money on it.
when we first started talking about it.
So it's like, get rid of TikTok, which who knows the bad it's doing. The government's already taking your data, doing whatever they want with it. So who cares if China does it? Because you trust them the same right now. The government and China put hand in hand. Who's going to fuck you over worse? You don't know. But at least OnlyFans, you know that's like a net negative because of the damage it's doing to young people and to men. So what do you guys think about?
I think it has more to do. It's kind of the same concept of like what we're seeing. Something spilt in that fridge. I can just see it at the bottom, leaked over. That's weird. But I think it has more to do with the fact, like what we see right now, the punishment for pedophiles. It's very light punishment. You know what I mean? And that's because the people in government and in office are protecting themselves for whenever they get in trouble for something like that, right? Because I think I saw somewhere that Trump's inauguration, that prostitution and call girls was up like a huge percentage in the city during that time. And so you think of all these whole high profile political people and all this stuff, bro, they love this stuff. They love the girls, they love the porn, they love the sexuality, they love all that craziness. And so it'll never go away.
Dude, politicians
it'll never
are
go away.
probably the
You're not going to
dirtiest
get rid of
people.
OnlyFans as if though they're the culprit when you've got Pornhub and all these other places out there still in porn.
You have the hub.
Porn is the lead, bro. Like just because OnlyFans is the hot topic doesn't make them the culprit. And I'm not defending OnlyFans. Like I fear OnlyFans. I have daughters, you know what I mean? But it's not the culprit here. Porn in general is, and they've never gotten rid of that, and they never will. They've allowed it to advance and advance. So OnlyFans it's just a product of that.
They could.
They could, but they won't. They would never will.
There's a huge negative to getting a actual personality to interact. Well, it doesn't even mean it's the woman's personality, but an actual personality to interact with you one-on-one over just watching a porn video that you get for free on the internet. I feel like there is a big difference. Like somebody
For you.
for everybody. Because
So then why are sex robots becoming popular?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess.
Why are dudes making love to fleshlights?
So I bet if we looked up,
He just told on himself, bro. I'll cut it. Don't worry. He said, "Hey,
leave it in.
I'm gonna leave it in.
Leave it in.
It stays."
I bet if we went back and looked at how much money people were spending on porn before OnlyFans, it would be a lot less than how much people spend
Well,
on
because
porn now.
porn's always been free since the
Exactly.
internet started.
But you're paying for an interaction. So like just because OnlyFans is a thing doesn't mean I watch OnlyFans now.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't pay money to watch porn. That's a silly thing to think about even. Like the people that are paying for OnlyFans are paying for it because they want to see this
A
person
certain
specifically.
person. Yeah, I get it.
They want to interact with someone, not that person
It's like
specifically.
a
but
cameo almost.
They want to interact. They want to feel like they're wanted.
Yeah. I
Just
get
like
that.
going to
I
a
get
strip
it.
club.
I'm just saying they're never gonna take OnlyFans down so long as porn gets to survive, bro.
But they talk about fixing like what's going into our bodies to make men great again, make the country great again, not just from a government standpoint, but from an individual standpoint. But leaving pornography and OnlyFans and shit like that up is so detrimental to the mental health of mostly men,
I agree.
young guys.
Especially
So that's another
because
thing.
on the OnlyFans things, like you hear stuff about it all the time. These guys sign up to these OnlyFans accounts and they're thinking they're going to get to see this, and then these girls don't really show anything. They charge you another $100 if you want to actually see the good stuff.
Yeah, it's like, they're not even.
No, that's what they do. That's like the number one complaint is that you have to pay like hundreds of dollars to see the actual sex stuff and the nudity. Otherwise, they're just posting
Little teasers.
pictures of themselves that
Yeah.
you can't see anywhere else, but they're still wearing clothes and all that stuff. And that's what guys are arguing about.
This is probably
that's
why
they
never
don't
get
like
close to
OnlyFans.
banning it, because everyone just starts laughing when some guys
That's
like,
true.
they're not even letting you see the whole picture.
They don't even
Yeah.
show their breasts on
Yeah,
that. What's
bro.
going on with
Yeah,
that?
you can't even see. You can go on
Tell me-
Instagram.
They don't show their titties.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. That was a great example of like things that are destroying us that they blatantly let us see. A big one, even bigger than porn, I would say, is the ads for gambling. Like even the NFL puts ads for gambling on all of their stuff. So
and consistently,
It's on every podcast now. The
every
beginning
podcast.
of it, they're shouting out prize picks.
It's the same
underdogs,
thing
different
with
shit.
the weight loss
Good
drug,
point.
Yep.
and it's the same thing with the ED pills.
fantasy football.
Fantasy football, ED pills, weight loss drug, and gambling. Those three things we can get rid of. Not get rid of ED pills, but like that does not need to be advertised on TV.
Yeah.
Switch to carnivore. You won't need those ED pills.
You don't.
It's
yeah,
true.
you'll be good.
It's truth. You can't deny the science.
But it's outrageous, especially a large corporation like the NFL who makes money off gambling, which makes it even more about entertainment. Like these sports aren't real. It gives you a bigger reason to say the NFL is fake.
Well, the NFL isn't actually a sports league. It's labeled as an entertainment league, so they technically could do whatever they want with it.
Yep.
The NBA is not like that. I don't really like the NBA that much anymore, but it's not like that. The NBA
Is that because of LaFlop?
I used to be a big LeBron guy.
Dude,
Not so much anymore.
what a loser.
Not so much anymore. But like the NBA is real essentially, but the NFL they can rig a game and it's
They
not
do.
against the law.
They do rig
It's-
games.
But they talk
It's a
about
rigged game.
basketball players talk about the NBA being rigged too, though. They talk about it
There
all the
was
time.
a player, his name was Jonte Murray. His brother is an NBA champion who plays for the Nuggets, Michael Porter Jr. So his brother, or it was Jonte Porter Jr. He he's actually going to jail now. He played for the Raptors when he did this. He was betting on himself on his unders and all of his lines making. I mean, he already had like probably a minimum $8 million contract for a couple of years with the Raptors. And then he started betting on his unders, and they just released text messages a couple weeks ago. He said, like, in the locker room at halftime, he said, just rolled my ankle. I'm not sure if I'll go back in. If I go back in, I'm going to shoot a ton. And he said, he's like, these are, yeah, you saw that? Yeah. Now he's going to jail for like 4 to 6 years for gambling on himself.
Like he was texting his buddy to put money on him.
Yep, to go put like $100K on his under for the whole game or the second half.
But he was like talking in code, kind of.
No, he'd be like, "Hey, if
he'd say, I'm gonna shoot the hell out of the ball.
It's
like,
garbage minutes. I'm gonna play and I'm gonna shoot a ton."
Or if they, there's another one. They were winning at halftime. They were up big, so he knew he was going to play a lot in the second half. He says he's going to shoot every time he touched the ball. He was going to shoot it because he was going to try to score to get over. So he said, bet my over, I'm going to hit it. And he's a role player, less than a role player. So his over on points is probably like 8.
Yeah.
So he's going to go and shoot 20 shots in garbage time. He's going to get 9 points. Now he's going to jail.
Yeah.
And he has 2 brothers in the NBA still who are playing the right way, and one of them's an NBA champion. So
either way, the betting is a big deal because, I mean, I don't care about the sports in general. It doesn't matter. But, like, betting is a sin at that.
Yeah.
It's fun, yeah. But it is a sin. And that's obviously, like, and is not beneficial to anyone.
Trump should pardon that guy.
Gambling on himself?
You should pardon him.
To go to jail for is kind of insane.
That's dumb.
Like,
it is weird to go to jail for it because he's already got a ban from NBA for life, so he can never play NBA again. He could potentially play overseas and probably dominate somewhere, but who knows if they'll take him. Yeah, Jonte Porter is his name now. I think it's 4 to 6 years they're giving him.
That's dumb.
That's a long time for that.
Yeah, for just going and shooting some hoops, missing on purpose.
All right, let's shut this down. Let's end this one on a good one. Let's talk about, first of all, the absence of Michelle Obama in everything lately. Okay.
Yeah.
So regarding Michelle Obama's recent activities, her absence from certain high-profile events such as President Donald Trump's inauguration and former President Jimmy Carter's funeral has led to public speculation. Reports indicate that Michelle Obama chose not to attend these events due to personal reasons, including her well-known disdain for President Trump and a desire to avoid pretense. Despite her absence from these events, both Barack and Michelle Obama have publicly reaffirmed their strong relationship. On Michelle's 61st birthday, Barack Obama posted a heartfelt message highlighting her warmth, wisdom, and grace, to which Michelle responded affectionately. So that's one version of it, which could be complete BS.
Well,
and then
hold on, we haven't seen each other. We haven't seen them together
since Kamala.
No, it really strongly since the chef died, and since his old roommate from college said they used to have gay sex and smoke crack together.
It's been a
but I mean,
long time.
they were together in person at the rally. One of Kamala.
There were a couple of times. They've been seen together a couple of times.
The speculation there is that they are still going to be married just because they are
who they are. They have to uphold the image.
But they are living 2 separate lives.
Right.
They're living separately. They literally don't interact.
Even during the inauguration, they said that Obama was seen at a mystery dinner with some lady, and they left together afterwards, right?
Yep.
So here's from PBD's podcast some new news about them.
Rob, if you could play that clip.
Has turned off comments on Instagram after DM leaks of affair with Barack Obama. Okay, what is the DM leaks, Rob? Can you pull up to see if there's DM leaks? Tom, your thoughts on this?
Well, here's what I think. First of all, why does it matter what's happening in their relationship? But what I found was very interesting was the story was broke by Yahoo.com Entertainment.
They still exist?
8 years ago, would have Yahoo.com Entertainment been allowed to say anything negative about Barack Obama? Hell no. Would they have been allowed to? They weren't even allowed to cover the girls. The Obama.
Someone wrote Obama likes his own team. All right.
Anyway, DM?
They didn't get to it in this short clip, but that was just the.
Did you watch it or no?
I didn't watch it yet. No.
Does Jennifer Aniston have a husband?
No, her last guy was Brad Pitt, I believe.
Damn.
Yeah, and he left her for Angelina Jolie, which was a smart move on his part. Good
play.
Good play. Yes.
They all date each other.
So yeah. So anyways, regarding those recent rumors of the affair between Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston, both parties have unequivocally denied these claims. Jennifer Aniston addressed the speculation during an appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live, stating that the rumors are absolutely untrue and clarifying that she has only met Barack Obama once and is more acquainted with Michelle Obama.
Sounds like BS.
It does.
That's what you gotta say.
It sounds like BS. Yeah, they're politically correct, right? We all know how good he is at that.
They're just,
But it's been sus. People have been questioning her absence for a long time.
It's questionable.
Yep.
It really was like since that the chef thing, huh?
Yeah.
Weird.
Maybe
That's
it's
like
just
the third
maybe it's
chef
just
that's died.
a whole gimmick to make us not believe that Michelle's a Mike and that Obama's into dudes.
Big Mike.
They're just like, no, look, he's with Jennifer Aniston. How could he be? You know, like.
It wasn't the big black chef guy that he's not.
No, the swimmer who drowned.
He was a regular
He was
size guy.
like an Olympic or championship swimmer who happened to drown in a pond.
Whose chef was the big black guy then?
That's
Trump's.
it was Biden's and now, or no, it was Obama's and now it's Trump's again.
Okay.
He was Trump's last presidency,
And he's
too.
natural too.
No, he's not.
He claims natty.
He is not.
They got just a massive chef.
Yeah, he's
huge.
jacked.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
All right, any final words, guys?
Yeah, stop claiming natty when you're not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a huge one.
That's dumb.
Straight up, Dalton, knock it off.
Yeah, I don't claim either way. I don't
There's a lot of fitness people out there on Instagram that do it, and it's just so lame.
The Rock claims to be natty.
But if you're only doing TRT, you're natty.
Yeah.
That's natty, right, Cody?
Whatever.
He doesn't care anyway.
Hell yeah. All right, that was a nice long episode. We got a good couple hours out of that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. We appreciate you checking us out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, tell your friends about us. Talk good, talk bad. Doesn't really matter as long as you're talking about us. Peace.